finally down to our final series of the day. Yes, it's Friday the 13th, and we got 3 series for you. It's down to the last one, RRQ Kaguya versus NYX Kyosei. And just in case you are just joining us for today, my name is Mika Fabs, and I'm here with Colden. And Colden, it is now down to our final elimination match for the day. And earlier today, we unfortunately had to bid farewell to Orangutan X. Who do you think we're saying goodbye to also here? Will it be NYX Kyosei? Will it be RRQ Kaguya? We had one upset. It could be another. Just saying, it could be another.
You see, in this matchup, my heart is absolutely torn. Like, I look at the RRQ Kaguya squad, and they're such an amazing team. Made an impressive run in Open 3, right? They look so strong up against the top dogs of this elite series so far. SMG, Full Send Sapphire, RRQ. I think they're at the top 3, I think, for a lot of people's list. But then on the other side, we got Fifi. We got Fifi on the other side. So I don't know who to root for. I don't know who I want to win.
Look at the logo. Huh? Okay, the logo is strategic. The logo is strategic.
Yeah.
You know, for NYX Kyosei, exactly. I mean, come on. It's a cute dog.
I think when opponents look at the logo, they think, oh, it's a cute dog. You know, they're happy to be here. You know, they're here for fun. And then they go up against NYX Kyosei, and whoa, actually, you know, they put up a good fight. They're here. They've beaten. In Google, it's not Google. I mean, Global Esports, right? No, MLT. Yes, MLT. They've beaten MLT to get to this position, and it's a kind of a bigger step, right, from MLT all the way up to RRQ Kaguya. It's not gonna be an easy fight, but I still have my hopes up for NYX Kyosei, and I'm excited to see what maps they would like to pull out and what comps they would like to show us today.
Yeah, it should be really exciting indeed. And you did mention that it was like skipping several steps, right, to go straight into RRQ Kaguya, because this team is definitely one of our powerhouse teams. You know, if it's not Team SMG, if it's not Full Send Sapphire, then it most likely is RRQ Kaguya. And, you know, their track record speaks for themselves, as well as the players that are on their squad. In fact, let's take a closer look at their roster in this video.
We take a look at this team. We've seen them before in the past GC Elite last year, making it all the way to the grand finals themselves. But this time, got a slight difference, right? An impressive lineup: Aluka, Yumi, Best, Iceberg, and Nepsky, all pulling their weight and doing great work to reach this stage. I think focus on Yumi as well as Best. I think those two players have really impressed me this tournament so far, and they're gonna have to put up a good fight here up against the opponents of NYX Kyosei if they want to have a chance to continue on in their lower brackets.
I think that, RRQ Kaguya, they have been having some slow starts here at Elite, right? So it usually takes some time for players like Yumi to build up steam. But once she does, she then becomes a complete menace to the other team. And then the other members of RRQ Kaguya then pick up, right? You suddenly have this momentum that is being passed around the squad, and they suddenly, start becoming, more and more confident in their play. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the exact same thing that we're going to see against NYX Kyosei, especially since, as we saw, this squad, they might be underestimated once you take a look at that, oh so cute logo and everything. But it's strategy, it's misdirection, and it's gonna make you feel guilty for wanting them out of the tournament or something like that, right? It's a double-edged sword right now. But let's take a closer look at the players, not the logo, the players on NYX Kyosei.
If you take a look at this roster, I think you get that kind of impression similar to Scythe and WJ. I think this squad is extremely strong. They have great players other than just their duelists. Shout out to Kachao Kon as well as Lin. Sorry, not Lin. Kachao Kon as well as Capricious, right? Those three players put up massive numbers in the previous match up against MLT. But can they match up against RRQ, right? That's the question. They've beaten their LCQ rivals early on in this tournament, but now they're going to go up against that top dog of RRQ. And I think they're going to have to pull out some impressive stops, some impressive picks off maps as well as agents if they really do want to secure this win over such a team as RRQ.
Totally agree. The composition is going to be interesting, I think. I mean, because you do have Capricious, for example, being a bit of a wild card, I think, because she might suddenly pick Duelist. I think it's one of those things where, because they have such a flexible roster, it could be an entirely different dynamic that RQ is preparing for. Right now, we are seeing our map pool. We finally have Sunset. Golden, I think we're blessed that every time we're here on Desk, we always get Sunset.
We're rubbing off on the teams, right? We're sending them good vibes, so they pick a good vibe map, such as Sunset. Interesting map pool. I really like what I'm seeing right here. Lotus, Sunset, and then if required, Haven. We got two very creative maps. Of course, Sunset being that newest one in the map pool, and I liked NYX Kyosei's approaches on the map of Sunset, right? We've seen them play it before up against Team SMG in the very first map of this tournament, and they actually did put up a pretty decent, scoreline. And going into that map, it's very interesting to see how they would want to adapt, because RRQ now has VOD footage of them playing. So gotta be an interesting one, but of course, first map gotta be that Lotus.
Yeah, I'm so curious as to their agent composition here, because NYX Kyosei did bring out the Neon and Yoru on Breeze the other day, and RRQ does run a double Duelist as well. They do have that in their pocket. Aluka and Ayumi could probably run it. Not saying it's gonna happen, just saying that it is possible. And as I mentioned, Capricious being that wild card, right? She has a lot of sometimes she'll just switch on the Duelist mentality, say, okay, I'm gonna take this one. And along with her and Delvisky, I mean, there are a lot of possibilities with regards to NYX Kyosei. And with RRQ, it's a matter of, I guess, how fast they're feeling, or how fast they want to control the pace today. I think versus NYX Kyosei, I predict that they might need some time to ramp up a little bit, but we're probably going to see a very, very fast-paced last few rounds rather.
Yeah, and going back to how I compared them with Scythe, I think NYX Kyosei also run a pretty slow default on the attacking side. So we're gonna have to see how this pans out later on in the map as we head over to that agent select screen to see how our battlefield will look like. I do not expect anything too different, right? It's gonna okay.
Oh, hey!
Immediately catching my eye.
We have a Gecko, and it's gonna be Alika on the Gecko too. So it's gonna be Yumi and Alika leading the chart, I expect. And we have Iceberg on the Omen and Bess on Sky, Absky on the signature Cypher. And on the other side, no big surprises here from NYX Kyosei. I think this is the exact same composition that they ran the last time that they were on Lotus versus MLT a few days ago.
Yes, I can confirm that is in fact true. NYX Kyosei not changing that comp, but yeah, that Gecko being picked by Aluka, right? Last time she was playing on this map, it was that double Duelist. She was on the Raze, Yumi was on the Jet, but now they're opting for a bit more of a balanced composition, not as, fully committed as that double Duelist, but they have the ability to plan with Lil Bro this time. So I'm really curious to see how to use Gecko. I think this is the first time we're seeing Gecko in this tournament, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Interesting. Right. Very interesting indeed. It's almost like we're getting all of the not so meta agents already. We can take Reina off of the list. We can take Yora off the list. Now we can take Gecko off of the list. Gonna be very interesting indeed. So let's get this game started and step into Lotus with Dax and Quack.
Look, it's been quite a historical day. A day of surprise upsets, a day of domination, and now one more series on today for the eliminations. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dax here with Quack. What's our tandem name again? What we call us? What does Mika usually call us? Dwax. Yeah, that doesn't roll off the tongue the right way. But of course, we are going to be rolling in an incredible series coming your way, ladies and gents, because you got NYX Kyosei on one side, you got RRQ Kaguya on the other. And while RRQ has been a powerhouse, NYX has been quite that team to really watch out for, especially here in the lower brackets.
They definitely can be. I mean, they had that lower bracket run. They started to beat their opponents against MLT. Against RQ, though, I mean, you're always going to have question marks in your mind. But, I mean, that's why this series matters. That's why this map pick is interesting. Because I feel like Lotus has been kind of NYX Kyosei's somewhat trump card.
Yep.
If you actually pay attention to their statistics, they actually have a flawless win rate on this map. But then again, that's in different instances against different opponents. This is their first time against RQ Kaguya.
Absolutely. It's the caliber of gameplay that they have had to deal with in Lotus. And truthfully, this is their biggest test here in the run verse on the elite stage, because they faced off against SMG, and you already know what SMG does to you when you face off against them in the first round. It's just par for the course. But them defeating their fellow LCQ seed in MLT Esports GC a few days back was already such a big sign for NYX Kyosei that the competition is just going to get stiffer from here. It's going to get even better. And now they're facing off against the old core that dominated years before. Alter Ego Celeste, now RRQ Kaguya. You already know that it's such a big test for the Fifi crew.
You already know.
You know it.
Whereas for NYX Kyosei, they've got the power of Fifi right now. I mean, a bunch of them, coming from Zolmeraki and other, like Filipino rosters, they do have somewhat of a chance still. But this is very interesting. I mean, like Holden and Mika pointed out, this is the first Gecko that we're seeing in Game Changers APAC Elite. It's also, it really is the first time they're running such a composition on this map.
Yeah, they used to run the double duelist, especially against Full Sense Sapphire, and their multiple occasions against one another. But perhaps from what they realized in their series just a few days ago was, okay, we're lacking a bit of that utility. We'd love to see Aloka enable a Yumi even more so alongside the rest of the roster. And if you remember that series, RQ Kaguya, they were always on the back foot. They got that comeback in the first map, but they were outclassed by map 2 and map 3. They couldn't just find the stratagems that would work, and them trying to go for a different approach here in the lower bracket is a good breath of fresh air, truly, for them to try and change things up moving forward.
That's right. I mean, there was that series against Full Sense Sapphire, and I think the biggest thing about that map at the time that they played was their 8-4 scoreline at the end of the first half. Full Sense, we just saw them against SMG, but they were running a double controller then, and RQ had that double duelist. It was a little bit tougher for them to kind of hold back against Full Sense Sapphire whenever they would break into sites. And so maybe that's why this Gecko is what we're seeing. You're looking to refresh your abilities, make use of those lessened lower cooldowns, and maybe, I don't know, use it for a recon, use it to, I guess, retake sites better.
I think also one thing that they were struggling against Full Sense Sapphire was how they could put that spike down. As soon as they get the prop on, it's just Full Sense Sapphire setting up so much utility around them, making the retakes even easier for them in that series. So just having the wingman there as an extra option, allow players like Ayumi, Aloka, maybe even Best to push on in and find more space for RQ to work with. That's something to watch out for. So quick little technical pause. Pretty much par for the course, especially that there's an all-Filipino team playing right now. Sorry to my fellow Filipinos there. It just happens. But again, if you're looking at... We've talked about so much stats. We talked about how incredible these teams have been all throughout Quack. But I have to say this. Number 1 on the logo game still has to be NYX Kyosei. Number 1.
Because of the little pupper that they've got in their logo.
Every time they play, basically the creed is do it for Fifi. Win for Fifi.
Do it for Fifi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's motivation right there.
Every time you look at the logo, you look at the scoreboard, and there's just a little doggo there saying, I believe that you can do this.
I believe.
I'm
starting to believe a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a story of NYX Kyosei because our incredible production has been helping us out really prepare for Game Changers and whatnot. And one thing that they were able to note was a bunch of the players here for NYX Kyosei first time on the elite stage. You mentioned a while ago that some of them were part of that Zolmeraki roster where I believe it was Camu, right? With them before. So there is a bit of that experience that especially Capricious and Kachao bring to the table from what we've seen so far. But but NYX USA as a whole, they're trying to prove themselves series by series. I still remember their incredible lower bracket finals back in LCQ versus Neons that went the distance, and they really fought tooth and nail to make it here, and now they're facing off against some of the best competition in RRQ Kaguya.
Yeah, it's always a little bit interesting and tricky. I mean, Best was part of Zolmaraki, Khan was as well, so they're always kind of playing up against each other. I mean, that's how, I guess, tight and close-knitted the Game Changers APAC community is. But yeah, you know, apart from that, it's also the fact that this always just cracks me up a little bit. The other thing when production was talking about it, if they lose, and the logo turns black and white, it kind of looks like something happened to Fifi.
You gotta protect Fifi. So if you want to protect Fifi, guys, you gotta cheer on NYX along the way. And especially the fact that we have so much of, I'd say, we have such a big map pool right now. There's still like Sunset, there's still like Haven. I really wonder what NYX Kyosei is gonna bring to the table. And hello, we're back. Hey yo.
Hey,
we're not the game.
Yeah, why aren't you starting the game, Caster?
I lost the button. Tash took it the other day. Prod said it was their birthday gift to her, and then she never gave it back. So it's a little unlucky.
Dang it, Tash!
that we haven't even started right now. But of course, we still got an incredible series here in the elimination. So we'll throw it over to a break, and when we return, it will be NYX Kyosei versus RRQ Kaguya. Tech pause is over. Quack got the bottom back from Tash, and we are good to go, perhaps, into this game. I'm very excited for this one, Quack, because you got Fifi on one side, you got RRQ on the other. NYX versus RRQ Kaguya, and all jokes aside, it's a big testament to the success of NYX Kyosei to play on Lotus, to still have that flawless record. Let's see if it holds against a powerhouse like RRQ.
What do you mean, all jokes aside? I still want to joke.
Okay,
Like,
sure, go
the game
ahead.
hasn't started
Make me
yet.
laugh, Quack.
I cannot. I'll make you tired by the end of the day.
Don't worry.
'Cause I'm gonna drag
The
this out.
secret is I'm always tired, but these games give me life. And now, let's bring in the energy, because whoever wins this, they
That's
move
right.
on versus NWJ, right? Who upset Orangutan X a while ago. On the other hand, unfortunately for the loser, they're gonna be eliminated from Elite. So the dream to still make it to Brazil, it is here for NYX and RRQ. Speaking of NYX, they start on the attacking side.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of secretly rooting for NWJ now. But here we go. It's gonna be RRQ, and they're starting things off by breaking the door instantly. They want to make use of their Gecko utility through that, but at the same time, Ayumi's already walked up towards Rock.
Trailblazers there, Yumi ready for that contact. The Pagels lob to just keep the suppressing action at bay, but it's a 1-for-1 trade instead. NYX had the answer versus the Raze. And the regrowth now. Keep them topped up. A reset from NYX and the Trailblazer to the print. So
Alright, that's a good way to spend the first 40 seconds of the map, of the round, excuse me. But for the time being, it still says that NYX is trying to play really, really carefully. Dark cover blocks off their path, though, so they might be funneled in through B, which is where they'll meet a bit of trouble. Iceberg and Alka are already ready to receive. So unless they've managed to make a full rotation, Napsky has a camera set up outside of Mound as well. They're pretty much going to be walking to straight info. RQ's prepared for this hit.
yeah, the flash is stuck there by the doorway, but in the end, RRQ still prepared here on itself. NYX now with the push. They go for a fake that's Sap. Napsky just spamming it down. Colin braving the smoke. Gets the kill, sure. But best with the answer. It's now 3v2 advantage here for RRQ. Still on site with the presence. Kachao bringing in the pop flash though to go for the contact. But it's all up to her now. Alone, the Dizzy looking for a bit of intel. There's the flash as well. Besto recovers in time to get the 3K. And RRQ, they stand their ground and win out the A-side fight.
With that, I mean, like I mentioned, they won out in the info game early on, so they were really prepared for whichever hit was about to come. But it's the way that they actually fired those blind shots through Iceberg's dark cover that really impressed me. It might have been a little bit odd. Kachao was trying to fake that plant, and unfortunately her teammates were the ones who had to take the damage because of it. So it just happened that way. A little bit unlucky, but it really shows that RQ Kaguya are prepared for this. I think, I don't know, it's just interesting still to see this Gecko in the game.
Yeah, the first time we're going to see it here in Elite, right, as the panel has mentioned. And we're seeing how it can provide value bit by bit, especially with the Dizzy and the Wingman in tow. But here we go, Alaka now, ready for that contact. Marshall in hand, spots out a few members of NYX. We're playing a bit slow here on their eco.
Gonna have to try to find whatever picks they can get. Oh, but
hitting
here
it.
comes Alaka with a Marshall. Couple of whips, but it's okay. Iceberg's here to help her out, and she tosses Wingman. Little bro just going to kind of push back the opponents.
Now go by NYX, and Alaka
down,
gets
C.
revenge for her own utility. Spikes down, and it's just a shooting gallery here for RRQ Kaguya. Already, it's been a more disciplined approach from RRQ compared to before. They're over-aggressing, they're using their angles wisely, and a flawless win on the anti-eco, setting the pace well for themselves.
Yeah, doing pretty well with the gunfights themselves, too. I mean, it was a little bit... I'm not gonna lie, risky for Alaka having with the first shot, but then Iceberg was instantly there to back her up, and with that, they made it a flawless round, holding on to every single weapon. Economy starting to boom, and NYX Kyosei, on the other hand, you know, starting to fumble a bit. It's just the third round, but let's see what happens. We've got a Yumi purchasing up on a Judge.
Let's see what it can do, if she can even hold close towards door. You mentioned it though for NYX. Right now, the stumble, sure, at the start, but it's a big test versus RRQ Kaguya, a juggernaut of an opponent that we've seen touted to be minimum top 3 here in the game changer scene all throughout the year. And as Prowler now seeks a target, NYX realized there's a closer hold on B than expected. Instead, though, we move towards Rubble, and NYX looking to find a way towards A. The jump peek. Got that intel there, Quack. I'm still watching out for what we'll get here from Ayumi. Waiting patiently, avoiding the dog, and Ayumi instead. Surprising one with a big Kondo with a big off instead from behind. And NYX right now with the kills to make their way towards the side. Precious searching for a target. Ayumi stuck here right now. This is NYX's side to take a scramble, though still ongoing. The Boombot looking for a target too as the paranoia gets connection. Ayumi now creeping in closer and closer. But with the side hold and the take, it's all NYX this round.
Well, how about that? I mean, the keyword right there is side hold. First of all, it is that just clear A split push game plan coming from NYX Kyosei. Nothing fancy, nothing too creative for the time being. But they managed to make use of their teammates dying and having Khan just push upstairs confidently. She managed to catch on to I can't remember who it was, but someone who was holding the site. And off of that, they managed to create a little bit more space. And once they had 3 players just bunched up together in the same spot on the site, it was tougher for RRQ to fight back.
Yeah, it was their bonus anyway, and Ayumi just couldn't find any value past that first kill with the judge. Now then we move to the next round. Rifles ready here for RRQ. And Nano Swarm keeping them at bay from peeking towards the B side. So at least NYX doing a really good job making sure that RRQ stays in their lanes. It's more about the execute towards the site that they're looking to work on.
Yeah, still playing it safe, slow, and steady, huh, Dex? They're moving their way across. RRQ, on the other hand, has kind of switched up positions. This time it's going to be Napsky positioned towards A. So she's relatively safe, making use of her utility to catch her opponents instead. Last pack will bypass a lot of those tripwires, and with that, NYX kind of has a free sight, unless Alka can do some damage.
Spotted though by the Boombot, and now they know that someone's there towards drop. Alaka still ready to clash anyway. Nazki on the board, and RRQ, it's all them so far as they go for such a stellar retake. All left now by the in a 1v4. Trying to play the flank if ever. Long lurk for her. She gets the kill, but Nazki now knows, or rather her demise, signals for the rest of RRQ where their opponent's coming from. The defuse sticks, and RRQ gets their 3rd round.
Fantastic. There's that RQ coordination that we're looking for, and all they needed was just some guns and to switch up their positioning for a second. With the info that they get, Elika, Napsky, they were all prepared for this hit. And then Ayumi's just allowed to let her rip as soon as she makes her way onto site. Of course, with Napsky falling towards stairs, they got info, and it was easy for them to clean up at that point. But what I'm more curious about is, how is NYX Kyosei going to bounce back from it? So far, it's been a little bit slow and steady. They've got the Nightfall this time. Will we see an execute?
Yeah, NYX Kyosei, I'm looking forward, especially if we can see Delbisky and Kachao start popping off from this point on. They're usually the X factors here for NYX. And if I remember correctly, Kachao, she was subbed in by what? The last game? Their last series. Back in LCQ just to qualify. Now she's really part of that main roster. It just goes to show NYX Kyosei, they're ready to build on whatever momentum their players can provide.
They're trying to secure that momentum as well. Got position. Iceberg now instantly. Ooh! Sensing danger, tries to shrouded step away back into sight, but with the hop up, kind of exposed herself just for a second, and that's enough. Lockdown is now deployed because of it, and Natsuki's trying to receive them, but she's running out of time, so she's gonna have to back up instead. This gives NYX Kyosei the site for free.
Lots of space to work with, and exactly with it, they're gonna go for the waterfall play. Paranoia lob alongside it, and now as Natsuki does their dip, Kwon is there to just beat her back. Crash though, gets the insane on the fight. The plant isn't down yet here for NYX. RRQ flashing already, and this is a big pick here from Ayumi. Spike's gonna go down. Delbisky though with the flank. Here we go yet again. The off angle utilized by NYX to such a strong degree, and the 3K from Delbisky provides the impact for NYX to get the round.
Wow, she kind of knew, and there we see it. There's that Gecko utility of Thresh coming out, but even with the stuns, unfortunately, teammates aren't really able to capitalize off of it just because the retake wasn't well timed enough. The lockdown just kept everyone away for that much time. And RRQ Kaguya, you know, we're talking about NYX Kyosei. you consistently see them make use of these separate angles. They're always leaving someone on a bit of a flank or a lurk just to turn things around. Ayumi isn't allowed to shine because of it.
Yeah, there's always a push right now happening from NYX to look for the backstab if ever. But Nabsky now, up in hand. Ready again for anyone towards bound. Blazer though. Already able to give the information. Op is prepared towards C.
My ult's ready.
Bisky picking up the orb as well. So if NYX does their force this, they can find a way through. Watching out for perhaps the paranoia from Capricious if ever. Bisky now again prep. Flash coming on in. That shot could have been big for Nabsky. But this time around, the Nightfall, the showstopper, clears out the site here for NYX.
Just clear ultimate dumps, and everyone backs off, respects it. NYX Kyosei gets a spike plant, but now the question is, how will RRQ Kaguya retake? Look at the minimap. We've got Heidi on that flank still, but she's been sussed out by little bro. Elika capitalizes off of it, but the whiff on the off.
That's a dangerous swing there from Nabsky. You mentioned it, the whiff fun immediately for V3 with RRQ make their way towards the side. Here comes Alika and Best. Showstopper flies, and Ayumi will catch Capricious on the escape. Best with another one. It's all left to Delbisky now. 2v1 scenario. Over here for Ayumi, and Best play Protector. Secured well by RRQ to get another round.
Yeah, good way to watch those angles. Good way to defend everything, and just transfer some ult points over onto your teammate. Best is now 3 away from her Seekers. It's 4-2. RRQ Kaguya, I mean, just this time a little bit sharper. Off of the lockdown, they had to respect it, but then just coming in together in such a fashion, not to mention the showstopper from Ayumi. Despite the ultimates from NYX, I guess the showstopper was a little bit, I don't want to say wasted, but it doesn't really connect onto anyone, and you already had the Nightfall anyways, so just extra security, but the most they got was a spike plant out of it. RRQ, on the other hand, just managed to get those frags.
It feels like that pivot point, though, for the round was when Alika found the lurking piety. As soon as RRQ realized, okay, no one else is going to come from the off angle across the same axis as us, it just will be NYX instead pushing forward, and we're going to have to watch the angles that we came from first and just move into the site. Just that it's like a game of ring around the rosy, if you notice here, Quack, and RRQ is the one finding the right rotations as soon as they catch out that lurk.
Yeah, and they don't have to worry as much anymore. And it allows for Ayumi to pull off her showstopper play. And that's what we want from RRQ Kaguya. But still, that said, I mean, NYX Kyosei looking to wrestle that control back away from RRQ. Calling that timeout now, I'm a little bit curious what they've got in their back, because the economy isn't really looking great for this round.
Yeah, just a quick little talk here, perhaps, of what comes next. Moving into these rounds, they have the Sheriff, sure, they have the From the Shadows, but you mentioned it. Right now, they don't have much to work with. Look to play the default. Again, Alika, though, this time around, the one with the Operator. It's something we noticed from RRQ. So many talents on this roster. Ready to play an op, no matter what agent. And Alika is the one waiting for anyone to come through. The one way's there also. Is NYX? That's the question. From the shadows right now. Okay. Iceberg gets a big welcoming party. But if you're concerned now, it has to be NYX here, finding the impact along the way. Satchels are out from Ayumi. NYX coming in close as well. A bit of covering fire, but Alika threading a needle and finding 2 with a single bullet. Iceberg on the board as well. And as RRQ now has the hold, has the angles. They're going to be able to get this round here, Quack.
And it's all up to Khan, and she is practically surrounded. Worried about pillars, sure, but most of her opponents are coming through rubble. The Trailblazer is gonna, get a little bit more vision. Her vision's gonna be robbed, and then Iceberg to seal the deal with a classic of all things. Was that a classic? Yeah, I think it was.
Show the Alika kill. Fraud, please show the Alika kill. I want to see how she found 2 there. But in the end, RRQ, they just found their target so quickly from the shadows. Got Iceberg saying hello to everyone from NYX Kyosei. And when they forced the issue, it was just Kaguya so prepared on the other side for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those rounds where you know your opponent's on an eco, so you're a little bit more confident, and it'll just allow for Ayumi and Alika to do their thing. You know, the ex-duelist players, you don't often see the Gecko holding the Operator, because once she fires that shot, she's revealed, she can't really get out safely, but with her teammates instantly there to back up, it's always quick. NYX Kyosei making it quick too, though, straight into the site. They've dumped a lot of utility, cleared out a lot of trips, and here comes the retake just as fast.
RRQ are already ready, and they haven't even put the spike down yet. Nobisky found, couldn't hit the shot, and this leaves everything to Piety. Haste makes waste, and for RRQ, they're the ones who look tidy in the round.
What would you say? I really like that. Haste makes waste.
Yeah,
Haste makes waste.
That's a recycling slogan, man. Come on.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a reduce, reuse, recycle thing. This is literally a line I picked up from the garbage. Like, quite literally. It was written down on the garbage can. That kind of things.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to, I mean, what it says is it's timing. Because RRQ Kaguya are recognizing and they're reading NYX Kyosei. If you're going to make a quick B hit, we're all kind of nearby. We'll just make it fast, make it difficult for them to get the spike plant. They've already committed. And at that point, it's diminishing returns. Somehow, though, Navsky in this round with a Sheriff able to peek out and shut down Alka.
Yeah,
Ops on Navsky, though.
Yeah, big pick, but remember, it's still another ego state for NYX Kyosei. RRQ, they have so much momentum, they have so much money, and the prep right now is a Yumi here holding over onto the boxes, I believe, so...
There.
Extra bit of elevation, knows that NYX is coming her way, gone spotted. They'll big it, but best. Smooth shot with the Vandal. 3v2. Off doesn't get connection from Navsky. Seeker's still utilized by RRQ. They're really trying to secure these anti-eco rounds as well as they can.
Interesting. Well, Capricious is going to smoke them off and make use of this to try to double back. But look at the minimap. Iceberg's already watching the angle.
Oh, Capricious had the flick, but cover going out. Hesitated there. In the end, the rifle has been picked up by Piety. A small chance for NYX to get ready for the
30 seconds
site.
left.
The double up especially, but Navsky. Second chance with the operator. No dice because of the smoke. Blind shot.
Close.
Oh, barely missing. You mentioned it. But RRQ, they're prepped again. Well, we've seen this multiple times. Staying around the site that
10
expect
seconds.
NYX to hit.
10 seconds left.
As you mentioned. And Best is the one looking for the jiggles again. RRQ's playing it so safe. They're not overcommitting their peaks. They do want to find the timing with the utility instead. Spike's planted now. And in an elongated round, RRQ will eventually be able to sweep away NYX.
Man, watching Piety's POV in that last few seconds of the round, she was so blind. It's just Iceberg doing her thing. You mentioned how safe RQ were playing, and that's exactly what they did. Together as a squad, nobody taking any ego duels by themselves, maybe apart from the first part of the round, but it's one way to deal with things and to ensure that they don't lose any unnecessary eco. And because of it, it's a 4-round win streak right now. NYX Kyosei kind of struggling because of a lot of these early picks coming out from RRQ Kaguya. Now the op is back on Alka, but we've got 2 ultimates on the side of NYX Kyosei. Delbisky with a showstopper. Perhaps that's one way they can break things open.
Yeah, and this time around, can it find the value that you would like in the first place? A blast back swing, and RRQ respects it yet again. It seems like for RRQ, they're really trying to bring in a level of discipline here versus perhaps the wilder side of NYX Kyosei. We've seen this from the LCQ teams where they're willing to play a bit more risky sometimes in the peaks, willing to just bring out the aggression, to say, in lighter terms. But now, Alka will light the load that they have to deal with. A big pick versus Delbisky, removing that entry potential here.
No more showstopper available. And it's just the whole thing where you're just walking that really tight angle where you're threading the needle, somehow still finding the shot. And it speaks volumes about RRQ Kaguya's versatility. That said, though, NYX Kyosei still wanting to force the issue, rushing in with a guiding light.
They know where Best is, but do they know Iceberg's also nearby by Bend? Seems like, though, the utility to keep them at bay. NYX Kyosei bailing out for the time being. And while this happens, Piety's on such a long lurk towards A side. Utility broken. That's a signal, I believe, for RRQ to rotate, too.
Yeah, Nevsky's already calling it. Alka's just, wow, staying for an extra second, manages to catch Khan. But here it comes. You talk about the rotation, and Nevsky's already prepared. A trap play right on the spot. She managed to get one and then gets traded.
Nevsky's doing such a good job with the Cypher, but Capricious, of course, an X factor here for NYX Kyosei. Fun fact, she used to be part of this RRQ Kaguya roster back in Open 2. Now she's facing off against familiar faces, and through the smoke, dissipates. Kachev finding Iceberg in the Coliseum. Everything now left to 2v2. NYX Kyosei finding ways to bring themselves back from the abyss. As Alec and Best look to clear the side, they're working together now. Shao will fall. Precious isolates the fight, and it's now a 1v1. Tap comes, but Best is even better. RRQ, they make it 8.
8-2. I was just thinking, if Capricious could single-handedly win that entire round, what a heck of a statement that would be to do that against your ex-teammates or your ex-team. But that's it. I mean, teamwork still prevails this time around. Although it was a bit of trades, although it was a bit of, Alika falling, Bess was able to work off of the information that she gets, and with sharp shooting still catching Capricious down. And now, you're looking at an RRQ Kaguya with that 5-round win streak. They haven't slowed down since, still with that operator. If NYX Kyosei wants to make it happen, they have to do something together.
RRQ, it's been risk management again and again and again so far. Here comes NYX, a bit of a desperate buy actually with some of them. But in the end, firepower now being brought towards that B-side. Door opens, and Best does it again! Magic made happen as the rotations come in both the map sense and in the literal sense with the doorway. What a shot and what a flurry we saw from RRQ. Might be even better, Alika. She's holding the angle here, Quack, and they're just so prepared for this. Piety. Oh no. Piety, please. Think about your life. Oh.
Either you bait out the shot first, or you toss a bit of utility. Yes, the dark cover will save them. But Dizzy instantly dealt with.
Showstopper's big! And Ayumi hits the jackpot with it. Mark the spots and mark the clear. It's RRQ with another one.
My goodness. It's again that fast sense, and everyone from RRQ are communicating. They're clearly on the same page.
Not that.
And not that afraid to make things happen. Oh, look at those butterflies. I mean, RRQ Kaguya working together. First of all, it's Bess, and then it's Ayumi, it's Alika. Despite getting smoked off, even with the Dizzy tossed out, unfortunately, NYX Kyosei just not quite able to make it happen. This is the final round of the first half. They've got those 4 ultimate stacks.
Yeah, unlike Black, who's very distracted by the map, RRQ has looked so focused all throughout this half here, and Seeker's out now for NYX Kyosei as they try at least to get around to end their first half with Nightfall also moving towards Waterfall. It gets a tag onto Iceberg over at Gravel of all things. So this is space made by NYX. Lockdown even. You said it a while ago, ultimate's up. Bard 2, Electric Boogaloo. Delbisky trying to get all the way out though with a find on to catch out 2 HP left here for Delbisky. And RRQ, there's a bit of bravery. But Delbisky is strong punish as it leads now to even odds. Lockdown though has detonated. RRQ using Neural Theft as well as the flank from Mount to try and provide a bit more impact. Flash comes on in. Delbisky though, another sharp shot for her. Big impact from Delbisky. Barely breathing but still fighting. Here comes Snapsky though on the board. And it's all left to her now. Pain Chill, as you said, reset to try and go for the stall. Alarm Bot also gets the trigger and Delbisky does it yet again. 3 for NYX to end the half. A bit of recovery, at least for them.
Switching sides.
Yeah, we can talk about teamwork all day, but even with low HP, 2 HP, you're able to make so much happen, and then the paint shell's coming back in. That is explosive action. You know what else is explosive? It's our panelists breaking down all of this. Mika and Koldan, back to you.
That's the first time ever I've been described as explosive. Again, getting more love from our casters, Golden.
Hey,
explosive is definitely RRQ. I mean, wouldn't you say? If it's not, Ayumi with a showstopper, if it's not Alika with the op shots, it's, it's probably Nabsky with the lurks. It's pretty much everybody. Bess is also playing out of her mind in this half, right? And we can see some, there are some plays from Delbisky that come in. There are some plays from Capricious that do come in. But when it's all of RRQ performing at this level, it's pretty tough indeed.
Yeah, exactly. It's everyone really, stepping up to the plate. And I mean, looking at the side for NYX Kyosei, I would say, as they switch over to the other side, they need to, coordinate some aggressive pushes to take back some map control, right? This map, similar to Haven, being a 3-side map, is rather large, and you need to control certain parts of the map when you when you switch over. But I'm not sure if RRQ Kaguya is gonna let them have that kind of luxury. We've seen how aggressive they can be, and they really need to make things much more tighter, much cleaner. They want to have a shot at this.
Yeah, if they're that aggressive on defense, then more on attack, right? And as the sides switch, we're gonna see exactly that. And it looks like RRQ are ready and raring to go and close this out, especially since, you know, the score's now 9-3. Are you feeling superstitious, Colden? It is that the data says it's correct, but I think RRQ are in top form at the moment. So we'll pass it on back to our casters to get into Lotus, Dax, and Quack. Over to you.
Well, if you believe in NYX comeback, you better believe in all the jinxes as well we have for today and for the score line. Still very possible, though, when you see a team who's really trying to go for that comeback rally from that first half, Quack. It usually is that moment where that can be a springboard for NYX Kyosei to work with.
It's possible, but it all starts with the pistol, and that's what we're looking out for, especially when you're defending against an RRQ that has kind of restructured their composition. If you can't win this, it's going to be very, very difficult, so they desperately need the pistol round win right now, but leapfrogging off of info already. You're going to have to toss in those paint shells, but what is this aggressive shot step?
That was so brave from Iceberg. It works out. Con here, still outside, still ready to fight. And 3 for her along the way. Knockouts onto anyone who dares foot. Hey, over at A, and Kachao in as quick as lightning, man. What a round for NYX.
Yeah, quick as lightning. You might even call her a queen. Really turned things around. I mean, Con, I think, was one of the bigger factors of this round too. Somehow, that was like a 180 flick that she gets onto her Iceberg. First dealing with the initial 2, but yeah, I guess you could also just use the shot step that aggressively to create a bit of space for your team. But well played by NYX Kyosei to fight back. Now they have a chance at really coming back into the game.
Yeah, that was a wild round from RRQ. And NYX Kyosei, they thrive in the chaos. We've seen it in the last round. We've seen it in the last round of the first half. And this is what we're saying. Momentum now to work with. Guns as well on the anti-eco. It's RRQ that needs to find the pick with the Marshall, perhaps, of Alaka here.
Kind of looking for it. She is behind her team. NYX Kyosei kind of respecting a lot of this space, though. None of them are aggressively peeking out. If this goes on, it could just be that full B-site hit with Iceberg lurking behind.
As well, Kondo prepared for this one yet again. Spraying it down. Gets the first, gets the second, and the clips out. She's still alive, she's still fighting tightly there for the helping hand as well. So reinforcements have arrived for NYX Kyosei. A stellar hold on to B with the gun advantage. And it's looking to be a very clear-cut round for them unless we see value from Iceberg's lurk. Well, Ayumi needs to provide distraction. 12 HP to work with. A single bullet should be enough perhaps. Iceberg has the angle, has the surprise. Kondo, quick little turnaround, even quicker. 4th shot and a 4th kill to boot. Well done by NYX in another one.
Gosh darn. Con is on. She's alive. And with that quad kill, now 1 point away from her Nightfall. A very useful tool in retaking sites. But that said, I mean, just being steadfast and not worrying too much, even though Alka was trying to use that Marshall as a bit of a musket, it just wasn't really gonna happen.
The speed.
It's always the back like 90-degree, 180-degree flicks.
Well, NYX Kyosei they're here because of their talent, and Con, one of the win cons basically of this roster right now. Pardon the pun. With RRQ now, rifles at the ready. The utility waiting for them on the other side. Of course, Raid Boss gone. Awaits them with the Prowler too. Trailblaze is gonna be the answer. Cyber Cage is being set on up. Paranoid is being lobbed. But RRQ cannot cross with themselves. It's the wingman instead. Little bro tried to do his job, but can't get the plant down. Prowler set. A big stall here from NYX Kyosei. And RRQ, they're separated from the spike right now.
It's fantastic. And it's not planted either. The wingman just kind of left it all out in the open. Little bro unfortunately had to drop. And it's not just the it's like the dark covers the nanoswarm in so much, but once it all drops, here comes RRQ.
Those lights at the end of the tunnel as RRQ and Ayumi opening things up so well. From that point on, the flood just bursts through. And it's RRQ who's standing tall after that one.
Yeah, those floodgates can't hold for very long, and once it breaks open, I mean, it's just a pure gunfight. And when you have a Yumi starting things off in such a fashion, clearly you can see Kon was not prepared, had no idea that someone would be flying into her grill like that. And Napsky spraying down the final 2 with the Phantom. It's RRQ Kaguya that wrestles things back, and now we're in for a 10-5. Kon buys up the op, though. Let's see what she does with it.
I can't believe I'm saying it, but she's feeling very confident right now. It just goes to show that here for NYX, if someone has momentum, they're a team
Well
that's...
played, Dex.
Exactly right. It just goes to show that NYX is just that kind of team that feeds off the energy of one another. They made it to Elite from the LCQ through grit and through, honestly, last-minute preparation alone. Now, they have the talent to fight, but can they handle RRQ and their synergy? Dory right now being pressured. There's the dark cover being set as well. And while Best is hanging back, spots out the Prowler. It's RRQ slowly creeping away from A, moving towards C instead.
It's the duel between the Sentinels. Nightfall being sent out, interestingly enough. Maybe trying to, I'm not sure, gather info off of it, but nothing is happening at the time being. Piety struggling to shoot out a bit of utility. And with that, RRQ claims the site.
Yeah, just a bit of NYX just jumping the gun. This is where them being the later addition, right? A bit of inexperience compared to RRQ, who have navigated the well to make their way towards C, but Capricious, she knows exactly what she's doing. They pick onto a Yumi, at least clearing out holes along the way. And RRQ need to go to plan B. Plan Mound is the call. Waiting now for anyone to go for the tap, if ever. Dobisky, Kachao, moving on forward. There you go. Capricious spotted on out. It's time, though, for the mosh pit. It's going to be big damage if ever. Dobisky has to let go already. NYX Kyosei struggling to get the defuse going. And Alaka changing the gun, getting the shot. Best is there, too. And it's all RRQ. 4v1. What else can Dobisky do in this one? Absolutely denied from getting towards that spike.
Crazy.
And another win for RRQ, as you mentioned.
11-5. I mean, I just love the fact that, like, they kind of knew the spike was going to go off, and they still went in like, hey, we got a little bit more time. Let's get some extra alt points, guys. they still get it regardless. And I mean, you gotta admit, yeah, maybe it's a bit of experience coming in from RQ, but they just have that much more practice together, is what it looks like. And Coach Ducky's so confident, doesn't need to call timeout. Meanwhile, NYX Kyosei's coach is trying to right the ship a little bit. You know, they are running out of chances, and they need to make it happen. But so far, you know, we see signs of life. It's not all bad. And hey, if Scythe and WJ can pull off such an upset against Orangutan, why not NYX Kyosei?
Anything can happen in Elite. It happened last year. It happened already today. There's always something that can happen here in Game Changers APAC. But you mentioned it, Coach. Yeah, as our stats have said previously, of the hero KDA actually giving a bit more guidance to NYX Kyosei. It has helped in their previous series, but I'm so concerned right now. Their economy is not the best, to put it lightly. They used the Nightfall a while ago, and while they still have the Operator in hand, how do they even stop RRQ by this point?
It's, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit tricky and worrying, Dex. We've got Piety on the judge, so maybe that's gonna be something that can catch RQ off guard. You know, maybe Yumi tries to blast back in, and then she gets swatted down with a judge. But that Nightfall truly was actually something that we want to think about, because if it was, you know, better utilized or saved for a subsequent round or saved for a retake, things might have been different. Instead, maybe it was a bit of a wrong read, a misread, and unfortunate for NYX Kyosei, because now they have to pay the price for it. That said, though, never want to count them out. Let's see the positions that they're going to hold, right? Kon has been holding on to this Operator for quite a while. Hasn't really had the chance to make the most out of it, though.
Yeah, just we saw it in the last round, immediately gone as soon as he rotated towards C. This time around, though, NYX, they have a bit of firepower to work with the Phantom, yes, on Capricious also. With RRQ, they're moving their way towards C. They have the Thrash available as well, and waiting for the execute now from the Yumi. Picking up the orb, going for the Trailblazer. Standard fanfare here from RRQ. The Wingman also bringing that spike home. This fight, he fights on back big value with a judge. They don't clear the close angle. And now NYX Kyosei gets the numbers thanks to the patience. Spike's planted, sure. And RRQ will be back on way, but NYX have a chance here.
I mean, that was just kind of... I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. I was just kind of spitballing, like, maybe this judge will do something.
Well,
and it does.
Sometimes you just gotta believe, man. And NYX Kyosei, the power of belief. They need to deal with the trash throws and get big detained if ever. They get halfway there. One, the play protector, Capricious, also swinging in to the right timings. And NYX Kyosei, I'll just say you believe, Quack, because you did, they did, and they get the round.
You gotta believe in the Fifi.
Yep.
I feel like Alka had a chance actually. Once the thrash went off, I mean, props to NYX Kyosei for recognizing that that's what Alka was going for, so they immediately evacuated the site and started to push her instead. See that she had her weapon up available at the time. Had she not cracked under that little bit of pressure, she might have been able to get the double kill and then the third. But it is what it is, and we're going to move forward.
There's no counting out NYX Kyosei whatsoever. Still a chance here now. 5 rounds to gap. Not the worst rally in the world. RRQ, they're going again for another execute towards the waterfall. Might be the play with a showstopper as Iceberg gets one as Capricious found that first target. Here it comes from Ayumi, still catching out one more on the retreat. And that's been the case so far. RRQ finding value with the raised showstopper.
Very, very, very nuclear, but still, I mean, back into it. The defending lockdown comes in to create that much more space. Everyone from RQ has to play from around pillars right now. Yumi's trying to make a quick move to get through the door, though. Prowler's gonna sense that nobody's there, and here it comes, denying the initial spike defuse.
Beautiful fade away there from Iceberg, still getting kill in time. Kondo with the push, best out with a quick little trade, and it's now 2v1. Here we go yet again. Delbisky needs to pick an angle and fast time running out. RRQ navigating, maximizing the map, and now they're almost at maximum rounds. Match point here for RRQ.
Confident dueling is what I'm seeing, and RRQ loves to do this. Once Ayumi's allowed to wreak havoc this way, I mean, look at how she even tosses that boombot. She heard a bit of noise, tosses the paint shells into upper as well. It's just so much that keeps NYX Kyosei away for the time being. So even though their lockdown came into place, they didn't quite have the best advantage, the best opportunity to come in for that retake. And having that sense to wrap all the way back around to the door just really cemented things for RQ. Match point. Look at the buys that NYX Kyosei has.
Yeah, it's pittance here for NYX. I just love the pressure RRQ's applying. You'd think, right, that it was enough for Delbisky once she caught out Napsky, if I remember correctly, on the lurk. That would have been it. No, RRQ maximizing angles, now getting the Dizzy back, and Alaka even with another gift to give to NYX. No matter what, she provides utility and kills, man.
For real. She just knows. Like, heard the footsteps, the flash, the guiding light was there coming out from Kachao, and she goes, I can deal with Khan. This is easy. Now on to the next, and we're walking to another close quarter duel. Stinger, though, this time, and alright, they're kind of respecting it.
I mean, the Nanoswarm's in the way, too, but NYX Kyosei now holding close. Big surprise, perhaps, for RRQ, but Bess already got the spoiler alert along the way. No one's clearing the corner, though. It's already here for RRQ, but NYX! Oh, Capricious, she got a bit of value from the angle, and RRQ, they made their way towards the side. 3v1 for the time being. Kachao, the only one still standing here to try and preserve the spotless record of NYX Kyosei on Lotus. But RRQ, Kaguya, Quack, they've been a completely different beast. They've shown their stuff, especially back at Open 3, looking to redeem themselves here in the lower bracket. Dizzy's out. The Goop will find the target. Alaka, though, out in the open. Mosh Pit now playing with the opposition. But Kachao still a chance with the Seekers. 6 bullets left, though, in the chamber. And here comes Iceberg holding the site down. RRQ, Kaguya, they take NYX's map takeaway.
I mean, applause to RQ for having this new composition. You can see the Thrasher doing its thing. Maybe nothing too crazy innovative, but still, that coordination is there. Ayumi's firepower is there. And a little bit unfortunate for NYX Kyosei, despite their best efforts, kind of falling short, and Capricious having that sense to hide under the camera, trying to get the free transfer. it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it was just NYX relying too much on those, I'd say, risky plays from time to time. Instead, we got the synergy of RRQ bringing them the first map. But of course, guys, we'll be bringing you back to the panel to break down what has happened.
Thank you very much to Dax and to Quack. And there you have it. Lotus belongs to RRQ Kaguya. And you know what? We talked about the amazing firepower that RRQ brought while they were on defense. And it wasn't any surprise that they brought the same thing as they were on attack. I think that, you know, for NYX Kyosei, they were just like, you could see that in many rounds they were scrambling a little bit. You know, there was... I think that there's excellent use of utility. It's just that it wouldn't stop RRQ. They would kind of just like bulldoze their way through it. It's like, yeah, you're flashed. Yes, you've got goop all over your eyes, but it's okay. I'm still gonna get this shot, and they do.
Yeah. Honestly, when I was looking at the game going on, and you know, just a bit of disjointedness, the entire team of NYX Kyosei, you kind of see Con up the mental as, hey guys, we feel like we're kind of on the back foot. Maybe I should pick up the R. Maybe I should be the one to really try to swing the tides in our favor. And that's something that I haven't really seen from NYX Kyosei in this tournament, and it's kind of biting them in the butt right now, right? It feels like they aren't really able to play together as a team. NYX had a couple of misreads, such as that round where they used the Nightfall towards A when nobody was there.
Yeah.
So it felt like an ultimate was just completely, you know, missed, right? And those beats, RRQ will just take it and run with it. And they made the most out of their side. I mean, best topping the scoreboard as that Sky as well. But I mean, again, it's a team effort coming in from RRQ, Kaguya, and winning out those first kills as well. 12-7 is a really significant margin, and yeah, a significant win, a confident one to say the least for RRQ.
I think you brought up the missed Nightfall, right? On the other side for RRQ, they got so much value out of, you know, things like a showstopper, right? It was, you know, Ayumi was just getting, you know, at least one with every single showstopper that she would pull out. And you had amazing utility usage as well from all of the others, especially Aluka. We were wondering how the Gecko would come into play, right? And it was so annoying when there were so many critters just dashing all around. And I think that, you know, it was, right? And then you have the Boombot to join them too. But for RRQ, this was like, I think that, you know, this wasn't even something that they were totally, they didn't break a sweat. In other words, like this, I didn't still feel like they were pushed exactly. Like, you know, maybe actually in Team SMG versus Full Sense earlier, probably, you know, there was Team SMG broke a little bit of a sweat against them. But here, RRQ, I don't feel that they're being pushed just yet. So I don't think that, you know, that we're seeing, like, you know, the RRQ kind of like backed into a corner. They're sitting very comfortably right now.
Yeah, there were a couple of scrappy rounds, but like you said, right, the entire, if you look at the map as well, it wasn't really RRQ getting ruffled under the feathers. Yeah, there was a couple of, you know, weird rounds where we send Lil Bro in to go and plant the spike, he gets killed. But then RRQ just, you know, collected themselves after where the spike was lost in the B side, and then they went for the double pump, you know, execute onto the B side. They got all the kills right there, flooding into that side. It seemed so seamless, right? And NYX Kyosei just kind of scrambling to pick up the pieces where they could find it, but RRQ was just cleaner, they were tighter, and the gameplay was really on point there going into that map Lotus. So yeah, it's a little bit concerning to me that Fifi is, you know, kind of on the ropes right now, especially since that was Aluka's first Gecko in an official in the entire, you know, career on VLR at the very least. So I don't know how Sunset's gonna play out, but NYX has really gotta bring the firepower in the next map if they want to stand a chance to survive here in the lower brackets.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you had a lot of there were a lot of rounds and there were a lot of plays wherein you kind of felt like if they did play as a team, it might work, but they're not, or like maybe it's just like one person on the side. Like I think like Precious one time was like, you know, took cover over near stairs, but she was like the only one there. So it was a strategy that, if you had other people with you, if you had the rest of the team with you, then maybe yes, that was a prime spot because you needed somebody to distract or you needed somebody to draw a RRQ's attention away. However, like, she wasn't set up for that kind of success. So I think, NYX Kyosei need to go back to the drawing board, and these, next few minutes need to realign and kind of like remember what brought them here if they're gonna do this again. And on Sunset as well, which is RRQ's map pick, right? This is again a kind of map wherein it's like you have to be sure that you're coming in with a game plan because this isn't the kind of map that's like Ascent. Okay, you have so many set plays that are already there. This is a brand new map, and a lot of teams are still working their way around it. But that's also what makes it so interesting. We're going to get into Sunset right after this very quick break, so don't go anywhere. Game Changers APAC Elite will be right back.
Got the money in the bank.
One enemy, last player standing. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
The money in the bank. Show me what you got. Back that up, 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 back Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, back, up, got down, up, back, back, got down, up, back, back, up, got down, up, back, back, got down, up, back, back, up, got down, up, back, back, got down, up, back, back, up, got. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. Got down, up, back, back, up, got down, up, back, back, got down, up, back, back, up, got down, up, back, back, got down, up, back, back, up, got down, up, back, back, got down, up, back, back, up, got down. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, so you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, to the break, bang, 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 bang,
then, is this our final map for this day? We have had 3 series so far. This could potentially be our final map. It could all end on Sunset today. It is going to RRQ versus NYX Kyosei, and this is an elimination match. If NYX Kyosei do not win this, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Fifi, but they could make a last stand here in Sunset, what I think is the most beautiful map out of the Valorant maps.
Well, yeah, you kind of summed it up pretty perfectly there, right? But Fifi holding on to dear life, one map away from elimination, but obviously, you know, Fifi would like to stay. Actually, I don't know if Fifi's a male or female. Anyway, Fifi
we don't want to genderize.
Fifi would like to stay alive in this tournament as much as possible. Of course, Sunset was the pick of RRQ, which is interesting because we've seen the composition out of NYX Kyosei already, right? They took it to MLT as well as SMG, so they played the same map twice. The compositions have not changed. They've used that double controller, the Harbor, as well as the Omen. So I think, you know, RRQ Ducky might be cooking up something. He might be, you know, coming up with some strategies to counter this double controller setup. And from the looks of things, right, if RRQ can perform that well on NYX's map pick, I can only imagine what they're gonna do on Sunset.
And we've also seen RRQ on Sunset, right, versus Full Sense Sapphire.
Yeah.
Like, they did lose that series, but we did see a little bit of the strategy that they had. It was very, very close, by the way, because of course you're up against Full Sense Sapphire. But we did see that RRQ, they do go for the double initiator, but they use a Fade and the Breach combo, which is like, in terms of utility, it's great because you get the best of both worlds, right? You do have like all of the information, you do have, you know, the set come out, and you do have the flashes as well. So it's incredibly good for like somebody like a Yumi, who as we saw in that map or in that Sunset play versus Full Sense Sapphire, that was when every single time she would pop off, the rest of her team would follow as well, and that's how RRQ got the momentum. Right now though, the momentum is fully in their favor, so I don't think they do need to start up, so to say, but it's really in NYX Kyosei's court right now. All of the obstacles I feel like are against them at the moment, so they're really going to have to pull out everything that they've got prepared for Elite at this point.
Yeah, I think focusing on the players themselves, we saw great showing from Con on the first map, right? And I think pressure is going to be on Con yet again, right? She's been one of the anchors of the players that you reliably, you know, look to get those kills, to get those numbers on various maps, right? And Sunset is no different. I think now pressure is going to be a little bit on Piety, right? I want to put her under the spotlight a little bit. Lotus, not as important, or at least not as successful as she would like it to be. But on the map of Sunset, we saw her go for a lot of flanks, a lot of mid lurks as that Sentinel player. And I think she's going to be pivotal if they want to pull off any fakes or any, you know, late round attempt rounds. So going to be keeping an eye out for her. But again, Kachao also another fantastic player for NYX Kyosei. She's got to be online as well as Del Whiskey as that duelist. And yeah, look at the compositions, nothing new, but new map. And first time of both of them going to be playing up against each other on this map, of course. Gonna be a interesting one.
Yeah, I love that you brought out the Con, just because the Harbor on Sunset is becoming increasingly popular, right? We're seeing when done well, it can be incredibly oppressive. So this could be you know, something that NYX Kyosei, if they have a strategy set out like the way they played against MLT, this was incredibly dominant when they used this composition against them. So they just really need to be able to face up to the aim duels that when RRQ come for them, right? They also need that extra confidence, because I do think that, like, you know, when you have a Yumi and Aluka in your face, for example, you know, it can get a little intimidating and you can kind of second guess yourselves. But NYX Kyosei, they do deserve to be here. They did make their way out of the LCQ, right? They are here for a reason, and they do need to bring that out. No matter how you know, tenured the players on RRQ Kaguya are, they still need to remember that, like, you know, they can stand up to them. I like that you brought up Piety as well, just because Iceberg and Piety using the Killjoy versus the Cypher, you know, you have one that's a bit more set, and you have Cypher who might be able to cover a little bit more ground and perhaps a little bit more stopping power. But we'll see how this plays out. It's gonna be a good match for sure. So let's get into it. over here on Sunset, potentially our last map, question mark. Over to you guys, Dax and Quack.
Thank you yet again there to our incredible panels. The question now, man, will the sun set on NYX Kyosei's Elite Lives, or will it be a new sunrise? I know you've been practicing during our break for something to say
yes.
to NYX Kyosei. Might as well go for it, Quack.
Isapa.
Yeah!
Yeah! What did I just say?
You said one more.
There
in
we go.
Filipino, there you go. Especially to the all Filipino team.
Tagalog.
And NYX Kyosei, it's Tagalog.
It's like Filipino.
It's a whole semantic. You want me to explain on broadcast the whole
No,
semantic about
We're
dialects
good.
and languages? But in the end, the only language that we speak here is who will take this victory. Can RRQ get that 2-0, or will NYX Kyosei tie it up and move to a decider? It's gonna be interesting though, because we go on Sunset that we've seen pop up from time to time in our Elite run.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, but I think Mika actually brought up a really great point when she was paneling, just talking about how these two teams play Sunset a little bit differently. And when you watch a team like RQ Kaguya, you know Ayumi's up there. You can expect her to be up in your face, and that's what she does best. The last time she played this was against Full Sense Sapphire, when Full Sense Sapphire actually picked this map against RRQ. She dropped a 30 bomb. That's the main thing. 30 bomb with 8 first kills, and that tells you a lot about how this team functions, what Yumi's playstyle is. Meanwhile, if you take a look at how NYX Kyosei played against MLT, it's a little bit different, right? You got Piety as the Cypher Sentinel, getting 5 first kills, so it's a lot, like a little bit slower, more team effort. And if they can kind of pull that out of their pockets against a player like Ayumi, maybe they stand a chance. And we got to see what happens. Isapa, let's go. Ta-da.
I mean, come on. What we usually think about is what kind of performance will we get here from NYX Kyosei, especially that they're running the double controller that has been a bit successful when we saw it by Full Sense Sapphire versus RRQ. But we got a word. We're going to throw it for a little bit of break. When we return, of course, it's our map number 2.
Show me what you got. Back that up, 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 back that up Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank.
Hit you with the 808.
Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the
didn't mean one more tech pause. We went one more map if we're your NYX Kyosei. Come on. Even Colden had to call you out after the break, you know? So get your Filipino right, man. But of course, we got NYX Kyosei, we got RRQ Kaguya, so we got an incredible treat for you folks as we still got a few more maps to go.
I think you want to revoke my card, my honorary Filipino card.
Nah, never mind. You put in the work to learn it.
I
okay?
deeply apologize.
It's
I'm really
okay.
sorry.
You're
I will go to karaoke with you.
You're
to
my
redeem
favorite.
myself.
You're my favorite Pinoy baiter. About it. But of course, that's where we're gonna go next, and here we have it. RRQ on one side, Fifi the dog, NYX Kyosei on the other. And let's just recap real quick what the compositions are. You got double initiator, right, for the side of RRQ. On the other hand, NYX Kyosei running them with a more standardized double controller, especially with the Harbor. But we've seen RRQ beat this kind of comp before versus Full Send Sapphire. Can they do the same here versus NYX?
Yes, sir. It's gonna be that Harbor Omen versus the Breach Fade combo. But my eyes are gonna be trained onto Yumi as well as Piety and how well they can work against each other, because I think that's what it comes down to, especially with the play styles between these two teams. NYX going off with a bit of a Cypher Lurk, Piety holding outside of B main right now. Meanwhile, the rest of NYX actually is walking up mid. They might be looking to pull off a bit of a B split or just a full-on market push, but so far not so good. Best is going to spot Piety.
Yeah, Paranoia comes on out, and NYX Kyosei towards the market, trying to get their way towards the site itself. RRQ still sticking on around the backside, and NYX right now trying to make their way towards the plant.
Wow. She just kind of fell back for a bit and continues to push up front, able to make things work. Now waiting for the high tide to drop. Elika just right around the corner. Has some frontline utilities available, but regardless, it's NYX Kyosei trying to fall back and walking straight into some RQ players who have been rotating in from mid. Chow and Piety fight back for the time being, but this leaves Iceberg down alone to 20 HP.
She made some noise. NYX Kyosei, they have the advantage now. They also have Piety stationed so well. Peek the corner, why don't you? 3 for Piety, and the pistol goes NYX's favor.
I can't believe it worked that way. I really thought that, like, Piety getting spotted out would be RQ getting a good read on this and they would know how to work against it, but Piety just kind of doubles back as soon as that market pressure was applied. RQ kind of wasn't really able to work against it, and even with the trades coming through, unfortunately RQ was at a numbers disadvantage, so NYX now with the lead.
And you can see for NYX Kyosei, again, they're looking to capitalize on the struggles we've seen from RRQ running this composition on the defense. They got mid basically for free, got the cover with the cascades, took the tiles to break that market, and we'll see this a lot here for NYX Kyosei, maximizing what Con and her Harbor can do to make the space onto the site.
Oh, that's kind of what they can do off of this, and it's also cycling through smokes and buying up so much time. The rest of RRQ, though, making a bit of a gamble. They stacked up on the wrong side. It's going to be that full pistol train chugging along through mid. Everyone can hear this.
It's time for some stinkers, man, because over at Boba, Alec already drawing first blood. At least Kachao does fall. 5v4 scenario. Classics bringing in damage. Navsky Iceberg also stealing these kills. So RRQ, a chance right now to pick up some Spectres. Might as well get the order along the way. And who needs Bubble Tea when you make it easy with the classics? RRQ, how are they getting away with this? Finally, the only one still standing in 1v2. The Haunt's there, though. The turret being stationed. And a spray down now to try and get the defense. But Iceberg sticking it. Navsky goes for the swing instead. And RRQ, they've stolen this delivery and take it with the Thrifty.
I can't. What?
Okay.
What? The classics. They just went together. Everyone was around market, and they pushed back up towards Boba. They got all of those shots, and for a split second, you could see panic in Khan. She recognized that, all right, there are 2 players with pistol. They're looking to right-click at me, and she instantly backed up. But even then, it's just too many targets, and she got overwhelmed. RRQ got away with that Thrifty, and now their economy's coming up huge. You've got a couple of rifles, more than just a couple, and NYX Kyosei with some sheriffs.
I've seen some fads before when people were so hyped up for Boba, but not like that. Not like that. NYX Kyosei, they couldn't handle the pressure, as you mentioned. Such a big steal for RRQ. Now they have the economy in their hands. They have a big advantage with the guns as well on the anti-eco. And Iceberg Playing it over here at elbow. Ayumi also stationed towards main. And an adjustment from RRQ. They realized later on in their matchup against Full Sense, right? If they prevent the smokers from getting the plant going, or even the walls from coming up, it's their best chance to fight back with. And contact like this, pressure onto elbow. Painchels are there. That's back to get away. But eventually RRQ's holding the line so well, Quack.
Ooh, fault line coming in as well. So that is RRQ looking to secure some free kills right now.
One enemy
It's a good
remaining.
call to play the aggression, and
Spike
case in
down
point,
A.
Ayumi plus Iceberg equals A is all RRQs. Quality, the only one still standing inside the smoke. Alpha awaits, and there's just no way to escape this execution. Flawlessly held by RRQ, who put the pedal to the metal early.
That's a very nice math equation, Dax.
Yeah.
Ayumi plus Iceberg equals A is... What was it?
Half the time I forget what I say.
It's all theirs, basically. Yeah. But still, I mean, you can definitely see that combo working so perfectly right in this very clip. And you have that fault line coming through, a little bit of backup from a teammate as well. And it's just what they needed. RRQ Kaguya are making this work, and like you mentioned, as long as they can deny that spike plant, as long as they can deny some of those controllers from NYX Kyosei, they will be able to deny that space along with it as well. So right now, trying to contest early on, dart combo inside of B main, pushing outside of
man.
mid. What is this?
The biggest problem's gone. Ayumi has had enough of dealing with double controller.
Double controllers.
She takes Con, she takes Capricious out. And while this map is called Sunset, it's just rising here for RRQ again and again. The sun shining, providing a drought to those waters. And NYX Kyosei instead completely lost what to do now.
Dude, it may be sunset, but I'm sad, son. Like, this is... NYX Kyosei just got the full buy. They were just about to try to make some kind of game plan.
Yeah.
And then it got completely, thrown upside down, in for a loop. Con and Capricious just got completely disrupted. And now you can see that RQ's comms are like, all right, we got their controllers. This is great. Let's all back up now. They can't really walk in easily.
Clear sight lines, and utility instead will be the answer. Perfect fault line. You can see why RRQ played double initiator in clear sight and clear shots.
Oh my
RRQ will be the menace. The flawless comes from RRQ Kaguya again.
Would you say they were the Phantom Menace?
Huh.
Some of them had Phantoms. Dax hates me now.
It's and then it's the attack of the Kyosei. Huh? Look, I love you enough to go with it, even though I know this is pretty cringe.
I'm gonna get slapped by Dax.
I
the
will
next time I see him.
always have your back, man.
But you know what?
Well, yeah, please, Valorant, please.
The most ridiculous thing, I gotta bring this back, is that was a gun round from NYX Kyosei. That was not supposed to be that clean, but RQ made it so. And now, just respecting mid a lot more this time. Things have been smoked off. RQ just playing around and kind of preparing for a potential beat hit.
Yeah, and when you talk about Valorant, I respect you more as well. But we get now the reckoning into play. RRQ, they effectively won their bonus a while ago. So much to work with now in terms of the back, there's position. Perfect paranoia as well, courtesy of Best. And now it's just really sussing out Kachao and Delbisky and where they need to watch. The high tide though is into play. Big space made by the harbor, but Best braving the waters now, looking to go for the push. Does expect Con to actually be playing onside fight. He also with a find, and it's 6 to the advantage. Here comes the Euro Theft, being the intel, Alka Iceberg. Their intentions absolutely exposed. Here comes now the aftershock, plus the stun. Capricious has to back on the way. Coked on the inside. Wrap around here from NYX with RRQ still standing to fight. Capricious now with a find. It's all left to Iceberg, but she cannot find any angle to be safe from NYX Kyosei. They get the site, they get the round.
Of course, once they gain control of her sites, once they have spikes planted, it's a lot more easier for them to turn things around. And it's easier for them to make such a thing happen because of Khan's Reckoning. Always such a useful ultimate, always so effective for pushing. But at the same time, a little bit curious for RQ. I mean, they didn't approach that as tactically as I would have hoped. I wonder if they just felt more confident in their duels or kind of, I don't know, anticipated that NYX would be going in for a bit of a half buy. But those Guardians and Bulldogs worked a treat, and now we go back into it. Maybe a similar game plan from NYX.
I mean, we've seen from RRQ, their biggest weakness on this defense is when they're facing off against the Reckoning itself. So NYX USA, that's a
Oh,
win.
yeah.
That's a win condition that they can work with all throughout this map. If they can keep funneling those orbs towards Con, it'll be a big chance for them to pick up some free rounds along the way.
I completely forgot about that. You gave me like full-on flashbacks to that reckoning now from Full Sense Sapphire. Genie was the one doing that.
Oh,
But here we go. Just playing it safe. Ayumi able to take down one.
look, come on, you have the Harbor. You can't play dry basically against RRQ. This is where they're so strong at, especially with the breach and the fade together. Sharp shots from Ayumi as per usual. Guiding light now though, the answer gonna be from Kachao, and that's a high tide setup. Alaka has a different plan. Beautiful stall with the vault line. Kachao caught out by the seas as well, and Navsky will be able to nab that kill. Nightfall gonna be the answer, and RRQ finding an answer versus the Harbor. At least getting a bit more of space to work with, and NYX, they're running out of time.
30 seconds
Yeah,
left.
gotta commit pretty soon. Khan trying to make the lurk work out, but Alaka instantly spots her. Safe positioning from RQ, and it gives them that much more in the bag. Not to mention their ultimates are slowly coming online as well. One more kill and Alaka would have her Rolling Thunder. 15 seconds left, so NYX, they have to
10 seconds
rethink
left.
their decisions right now. Maybe go for a save, but they continue to commit.
Best there, peak though, time running
One
on
enemy
out.
remaining.
Isolates the fight versus Capricious.
down,
Well done
B.
by Bess. And this should be enough to secure the round. RRQ. This is why you got Ducky on board, and of course, a little bit of time to work on Sunset even more. They picked it for good reason back, and you can see why. An answer versus a high tide.
Just working out so darn well, and as long as they can kind of play to this rhythm still, I think RQ Kaguya, they can deny those spike plants and really turn things around. I mean, another interesting thing to note would be the Sentinel choice on this map. Iceberg with the Killjoy, she's had the lockdown for a couple rounds, hasn't really, found the best use for it yet. Meanwhile, Piety, just trying to gain info as well, but trying to pull off that lurk ultimately got denied. And that speaks to how RQ plays, and Coach Ducky just trying to, give them a little bit more sense to control the map that way. So, timeout from NYX Kyosei now. Maybe they can turn things around. Not the best buy this round, though.
I mean, RRQ is doing a really good job to try and define another composition to run on Sunset. I mean, it's a very new map. We've seen double control be perhaps the choice from previous tournaments, from the 10 Invitational, right? But RRQ is making it work. They're trying to see, okay, we can make this Killjoy happen, we can have this breach, we can have this fade. And while there might still be a debate, even I'm not completely convinced by the Killjoy pickup as of yet, Iceberg is doing just an incredible job herself, holding down that A site with a teammate, allowing the other utilities to watch out for B, and it's been a stellar game plan so far.
Yeah, and she's just kind of anchoring things down, and
Right there.
whichever side you're on, you're basically
Right there.
blocking, talk about 3-lane maps. You're blocking every single one of those lanes away from NYX. The only time that NYX has been able to successfully break through was with their initial pistol round fight and with that reckoning that they had. So, just trying to slip through now. Okay. Bit of a cascade towards top mid. Navsky trying to gain vision over them. Doesn't see anything for the time being. And NYX Kyosei are looking for some advantageous duels. Nobody's peeking into them though. Oh my god!
Oh no, Piety! Who needs to peek when you got the aftershock and sticking around like that? Big free pick here from RRQ. They always have to seed mid just because of the double control setup, keeping them at bay. Now, they have the numbers. They still have Best anchored in as well. And as we're watching now, cross, NYX. Gonna be caught out by Navsky, so a few shots ring. Delbisky needing to back on away. Best is still around though. Kachao has the angle. Beautiful shot. Navsky now with the trade. Goes for the haunt to get a bit of intel. Paranoia is gonna be the answer. Prowler 2, but the Rolling Thunder gonna be the call. Catching out Con out in the open. Big timing there, courtesy of Alaka. And Navsky's now clear to come and collect. 3 for Navsky, make it a 4. And that's a 3-round gap between RQ and NYX now.
There.
This round of applause. Navsky with the quad kill. Just used a Nightfall, now almost back online with it again. And that's just how great RQ can be when everything's flowing for them. I mean, they kind of recognized how NYX Kyosei wanted to approach the site, approach the map. The Aftershock initially, and then a bit of an interesting smoke coming out from Capricious to block off the rotation from, I guess, A-Link. but yet somehow it was a bit of a tell at the same time, and nobody was really there to lurk and capitalize it. So everything from RRQ is just working out great. They're firing on all cylinders. Now NYX Kyosei deciding to try an attempt at the A site.
RRQ, they figure out quickly that this is going to be an A take. They went already for B main controller. Watch for Ayumi try and hold. Showstopper already sure, but the flights now. Kon with the kill. Capricious on the board. NYX with the clear so far. Alaka with the fight back though. Catching out Piety. But the spike has made their way towards the site. A big play towards Elbow, giving NYX a chance.
Very chaotic, but it still works well. Here we go, Navsky with the haunt trying to catch a wallbang. Not quite able to find anything, but she's also creating pressure for Best to come up with a bit of a flank. If NYX Kyosei doesn't find this, this could be their peril.
Oh, Kachao. She has the timing, she has the angle, but Best will find her before she gets more. It's 2v2 now. Kon, Capricious, the controllers can set up the battleground well. You see the plant now, it's a cover. And because of it, Navsky with the isolated fight. Kon, though, at least 1-1. Best with the timing. Wow. Well done by RRQ. Took advantage of the spike plant, had a bit of cover to work with, and as soon as Best went out of the smoke, found the timing, it was their round to take.
I really like how conservative Best can be with her dark cover sometimes. Despite being the sole controller for RRQ, I mean, saving it for the spike defuse that way, and coming up with such a flank, you can see that those were clear comms coming out from RRQ, and it really works that well. She knew that, you know, Kon would kind of be forced to take a couple of shots in case Best was sticking the defuse, and made use of that to gain info and get the final shot as well. So 6-2. We've got 3-round win streaks coming in from RRQ now. Can NYX Kyosei turn things around?
And I just love the adjustments here from RRQ, especially forcing NYX to put it into cover perhaps that they wouldn't like. In the end though, now we get the clash here towards Heather, and we're watching Ayumi bringing in the fireworks and bring the kill towards Delbisky. So big victory for RRQ again.
Great recognizing, right? I mean, we see that Kon has the one weakness for RRQ. So they just take the fight, deny that B main space. Okay, Best a little bit open there.
Okay, Showstopper! Closing these red velvet gates so quickly. Another one for RRQ, and while Kon has the ultimate, she doesn't have the teammates. Big find though onto Ayumi, giving her a chance to scramble for RRQ to rotate towards B. She needs to make a masterpiece here, my friend. Paint the picture with the high tide if ever. Fault line being prepped by Alaka as silence now. Kon slowly waiting her way in. Oh.
Such a good setup.
RRQ so prepared for this. Navsky can get that initial intel. As the angle, the kill comes their way. RRQ again taking the fight early on to secure the round.
You gotta love it. The team play. A little bit messy with the firefight, not gonna lie, especially around B lobby, right? The teleport onto the top of the box. Ayumi with the blast peck afterwards. Not quite knowing that there was another player still around the corner, surely. But that setup at the end there, Iceberg coming in from tiles, making sure that nobody's rotating back. You've got Alka with the fault line prepped and ready. If Nevsky died, Alka would have let that fault line rip, and that would have been a free kill afterwards. So very well played by RRQ.
RRQ has everything going in their favor, and the doorway hasn't been busted. That delay prevents him from getting the kill from RRQ, and Delbisky, low HP, let the showstopper fly. She gets nothing for her Trumbo success instead. Different plat, can't escape in time though, as Piety just guns her down. Navsky on the board, holding things down, no fear despite the reckoning. RRQ looking so sharp, and everyone anywhere, they just win out the fight. It's another one for RRQ.
You would have thought that this round might have been a little bit different. The reckoning was used.
They're not
but
afraid
RRQ
anymore.
Did not care. Exactly. Just brute force. Fight fire with fire. Let's go. And that just turns things around. I mean, a little bit awkward for Best, surely, with the From the Shadows. I think she wasn't prepared for it, wasn't fast enough. But her teammates were instantly there to back her up. And Navsky especially has been coming up with a lot of multi-kills in these rounds. She's back up on 14 kills. And still, this lockdown hasn't really been... You don't need it.
Yeah, it hasn't been necessary whatsoever. Most of the impact from Iceberg comes from anchoring down that A site versus NYX Kyosei. And here we go again. Elbow has been her city. And apparently she's the mayor of A. NYX Kyosei, they have to back out instead. As RRQ getting so much intel early on. Watch out for mid though, Quack. The harbor's there. Maybe Alec can find her. Nope. Backing away into relative safety.
It's either Alka or a Yumi, right? Kind of positioned around market, around a link. You got a turret there from Iceberg as well, so maybe it's a bit of a lurk. Maybe that's what Khan is looking for. She's got a sheriff only.
Yeah, exactly. She's the only one without a rifle right now.
find
For
you.
NYX. They go for the haunt though. Trying to get a bit of intel. Broken quickly, so presence applied. Kyosei sneaking around towards mid. Khan doesn't need a rifle at all. Alaka falls first and foremost. Cascade's coming into play. High Tide's gonna be there too, and the pressure being applied towards that B side. Keep an eye out on Ayumi instead. She's watching and holding market by her lonesome. Best also
Blocked
anchored
off.
onto the side, blocked off. And Dobisky now moving forward. Big smokes here for NYX Kyosei to actually wait on. Here comes Ayumi again! Two for Ayumi! Actually decides to test this offense. Here comes RRQ fighting back. Khan, the only one still standing. And it's 1v2. Time running out here for NYX Kyosei. Iceberg spotted. Best isolated. Khan with another one. 3 for her. Ko providing a bit of cover. The Nanoswarm did a bit of damage though. And Iceberg again. Such a haunting presence. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Iceberg will find you.
Last round in the half.
Just can't. This is one of those Friday the 13th
So scary.
horror movies. You think she's up by Boba, and then she goes all the way back around through to market, and suddenly you get stabbed in the back. The little tumbleweed at the end as well. 9-2, Dax, and RRQ has not slowed down at all. Are we really going to end this first half 10-2? This is an elimination match. NYX Kyosei need to come up huge.
I think the bigger question really is, will we see the lockdown finally used? And Yumi caught off guard by Piety, quickly positioned towards South. Big pick right now from NYX Kyosei. At least something to start with.
Okay. The Aftershock was kind of baited out as well, I guess. Nobody's really there, though, so it's a free pick for NYX Kyosei. Maybe they can make use of this to soften up the defenses, find something. So far, the B-side seems to be their preference, but it's always tricky with that large pillar around the middle. And they need market control. They need to collect on a lot more space. Right now, Piety's going off on a bit of a lurk too, though, so maybe able to catch some unsuspecting players. The market becomes...
There you have it, case in point, Quack, as he called it. Piety finding Alaka, clearing out market well for NYX Kyosei. Their best chance in a long time. Neurotheft also used to get that intel.
Spike
As the plant
planted.
goes down, Khan's ready with another reckoning. So NYX, they have everything they need to succeed for this time.
suggest you
Yeah, the perfect ingredient. Oh, there it is. It's used right now. Reckoning.
Oh, Piety's on 3 though. This is interesting. Maybe a chance to get even more. Navsky, Best, trying to hold all the way by Boba. But a bit beyond the cascade, it's difficult to even find any kind of footing. And Capricious is prepared on the opposite end. We end the half 9-3.
Just as we started on the first map too, it's another 9-3. The reckoning was there. We had great map control. We had a bit of a lurk, and everything going right for NYX Kyosei. Are we feeling superstitious, panelists?
Like I said, for me, it's lucky number 13. But of course, you know, with right now against NYX Kyosei, or rather for NYX Kyosei, it's not feeling too lucky for them, right? RRQ are on a roll right now. They were able to put a stopper to that momentum with that last round, but I feel like it wasn't exactly consistency that got it. It just so happened that, you know, there were some lucky shots, some lucky picks from Piety, especially that massive first one onto a Yumi Colden. But this isn't something that we've been seeing all throughout the round, so I don't feel too confident just yet.
Yeah, even though the last round was kind of nice, it doesn't really inspire confidence that they have Grab under control. Something really interesting is when they use the reckoning, they do win the round, but I don't think that's a consistent
You can't rely on
piece
that,
of util
right?
that you can use every round, right? And when Piety gets those levels, yeah, they get the value, but RRQ, they know, they are very aware of this. You see them always playing towards mid. They have at least one person always watching that mid push, you know, coming into the CT spawn position. And when NYX unable to get those picks in mid, they kind of struggle in the later rounds, right? It looks very disjointed and really uncomfortable. But switching over sides, I think they really need to, you know, tighten up their util, tighten up their gameplay, because right now RRQ is just going to run away with it.
Oh yes, and they could run straight into the faces of NYX Kyosei here as the side switch, and we are now going to RRQ on attack. We already saw how aggressive they are on defense, much like what happened in the first map, right? And even the same scoreline, actually. So is this deja vu, but this time Sunset? We're gonna find out as we step back into the beautiful streets of Los Angeles with Dax and Quack.
Aww.
Okay, well, RRQ Kaguya, the big lead has been set here, Quack. They've shown that their offense has been pretty much sublime versus Full Send Sapphire. They have a big buffer
That's
to work
right.
with. We'll see what else they can do. NYX, they need to recover and fast.
They really desperately need to make that happen. We've got some trips set up across B now, so maybe if a Yumi steps into them, it could be a bit of a trap play from NYX Kyosei to deny her that early aggression. Dark Harbor's coming out though, and RQ's looking for a bit of space. Oh wow, using Prowler to break those trips?
Absolutely, and from this point on, Yumi will use that as a go signal to actually make her way towards the site itself. Yumi gets one, making second. Mark it now, there's the pressure. Smoke someone out as well. The Biscuit though, struggling all throughout the game. It's caught instead with confirmation. And RRQ, they're clearing this B side so well and so efficiently. Spike's gonna go on down. Chow, the only one still standing. Duel now versus Alaka, can't win it. Double jits here for RRQ.
That was all it took. That was all it took, Dax. A little bit of an underestimated combo between the Fade and the Raze is that you can use your Prowlers to break trips to allow your Raze, aka a Yumi, to do such things with the Frenzy. It completely chews up NYX Kyosei, and a little bit unfortunate for them. Without the pistol win, they don't have momentum. Unless they can somehow turn this round back against RRQ.
Yeah, this round is a big testament of how shaken NYX Kyosei is right now, especially, unfortunately for Dilbisky. Hasn't gotten a single kill all throughout these past 13 rounds into the 14th. Struggling to find that kill onto Ayumi also. It's NYX.
Wow, my
Dig
eyes are
deep
down.
if they want to stand a chance. They are on an eco though, with 3 sheriffs at the very least, but RRQ, they get intel towards B. Realize it's a good pivot to go towards A, where it's only Con awaiting them. And they're rotating very quietly just to make their way through.
Trying to be as silent as possible. Causes a lot of doubt to sink into NYX Kyosei's minds. They don't have that information, especially not on the A site. Khan's so far back, and at this point, all she can do is to wait for her teammates to arrive. A full-on pistol retake against a fully equipped RRQ Kaguya squad.
Stacked is an understatement. RRQ has brought everything they need to win. Alaka with the first. Delbisky though getting on the board finally, but that's all she gets. 2-for-1 trade so far. RRQ sticking around towards elbow, something they've been utilizing even the first half. Kasha pushes forward, Ayumi will fall. The rest of her teammates though already been felled along the way, and it's not just 1 but 3 looking at you. Besto, a single person enough to get that kill, and it's 11-3 for RRQ's favor.
Staring down the barrel, man. You got 3 barrels. That's a firing squad. The fault line, that was very nice. Delbisky managing to land such a shot though, and Kachao just, I mean, making use of that positioning, not too bad. But that's it, Dex. That's it. It is an 11-3. Very difficult to come back from. If RQ takes this round, the game is as good as gone, and that would be match and series point. Kyosei still, I can't stress this enough, it's an elimination match. They lose this, and that is it for Game Changers APAC Elite for them.
This is do or die right now for NYX. This might be the penultimate round here. With RRQ, can they get value on the bonus? NYX Kyosei picking out not even the fullest buy. Light armors for many. Got the Guardian as well, and Con, a single shot, apparently enough. Iceberg will fall quietly in position here as well. There's a big fix from NYX so far until Ayumi provides the overrun. A chance now here for NYX to fight back as RRQ pivot their way from mid to A. They'll be able to get the site. There's still an anchor going for the miss. Kachao looking for the clear, but Kachao was ill prepared for it. Best gets two. Con with a third so far. The Guardian is all she needs. The taps do come, but Best will eventually silence those tracks.
No way.
Oh, incredible picks, but we're not done just yet. Best versus Capricious now in a 1v1. The spike out in the open, elbow being held instead here by
She doesn't know.
Capricious. And you said it yourself, she doesn't know, and now we find Nick still alive.
Ridiculous. Well, good thing for NYX Kyosei. Capricious stayed hidden long enough. Incredible shots coming in from both sides, but Best was just a little bit sharper. That dink right before Kachao went back behind the wall. And a little bit, yeah, just unlucky for Khan being caught out with her knife. I guess she thought that Best would be further back towards A main as opposed to right around that corner. So 11-4, and we continue on.
Signs of life here for NYX Kyosei, but they're gonna need more than a heartbeat to keep fighting back. Here we go again.
We got
RRQ
Reckoning.
now. Putting the pressure, you said it already. The Reckoning. Do you want to be the Reckoning alarm, Quack? You want
Yes,
to?
yes.
Yeah, okay, so from this point on, you gotta give me the signal if there's a Reckoning available. Trailblazer though. Scouts at towards B main.
That's not a Reckoning.
That's not a Reckoning. I'm glad you know the difference between the Trailblazer and the Reckoning.
This
Congrats.
is my one job today. Thank you very much, Dex. I love working with you.
You are incredible. But what might easily be better is the setup here from Piety, unless a Yumi can clear it with a showstopper. Moving now towards the alley even, flushing out anyone on site as the rocket provides a bit of space. Boombot also for intel. Like planted, tried to break it, and now the Reckoning. As Quack has been hyping up all so far. The answer though with the season of Piety, standing her ground to catch out Navsky. Advantage now here for NYX as they go for the rating. The main show still lob to buy some time. Capricious Kachao. You can see the roll call here for NYX Kyosei. They're getting on the board here bit by bit, and now they're made their way towards the side. Already on DP's duty. Ayumi though still with the fight back, but can anyone from RRQ even make their way back to the spike? The answer is no. NYX still kicking here and still fighting.
You know, pretty soon, I'm glad that today is Friday the 13th because The Reckoning sounds like a really good horror movie. It happens because of the ultimate. Look at this. Someone gets stunned, Piety gets a frag off of it, and then the high tide from Khan comes up to give NYX Kyosei a lot more space to work with. And with that, they set up some positions for the retake. They know that RQ would go in for the fights. And with that, angles being held, they were able to shut down RRQ's win streak. Now, 2 rounds in a row, maybe they can chain this back into even more. Of course, we need a lot before we can actually call this a true comeback. But it is nonetheless a great chance for NYX Kyosei.
Look, it's a long way to the surface here for NYX Kyosei, but with Khan and Piety leading that charge, there's always a possibility. The timeout called by RRQ, they just can't find the answer again when NYX Kyosei has all that utility to work with. They're trying to play onto the site, they're getting flushed out, they're trying to play away from it, they can't see anything, and it's the kind of problems that their double initiator comp still needs to deal with versus the double control.
Well, I'm told by Mika now that
No,
The Reckoning is actually a real movie.
Okay, so Quack, you gotta pay royalties after that one, huh?
Oh no,
Oh,
I don't have anything. I can just tell you when there's a Reckoning available.
Okay.
But off the timeout, I mean, I'm sure that RQ have recognized that that is something, that's a factor that has worked against them thus far. So maybe Coach Ducky calling a timeout to kind of give them a little bit more guidance as they approach sites now. Walking through, they know they have some guns, not the best, but at least something that they can work with.
Yeah, an incredible camera, by the way. You see that? Seeing from elbow towards lobby? Oh, not the mesh. That's material.
Gotta change the game plan now. Whatever A hit you wanted to pull off, NYX Kyosei are prepared for it. So we go back, funneled in towards B. Capricious and Kachao are very much aware of this. Hence the guiding light at this time to gain information over B main. Capricious blocks it off, and Market gets blocked off back.
Works are out. Paranoia, the answer here from RRQ. Seems like he will lead the charge again with the blast backs, with the flash comes on in, and Kachao wins the duel best though. Classic's all she needs to get that kill along the way. Plant looking to be stuck here by RRQ. They have the rolling thunder to work with if ever. Con already finding best. Push comes to shove. Zalika will decide to advance anyway. Con with another one. Over to the opposite end. They don't expect Iceberg to be in that position. Navsky throwing all the attention away. But in the 1v2, these sheriff staffs need to think through. But apparently the only one who'll be saying anything will be Delbisky. NYX again, that's 3 in a row now.
And not too shabby. RRQ Kaguya getting the spike plant regardless, but NYX Kyosei very well done, standing their ground and pushing RRQ Kaguya back. They managed to shoot down a Yumi. Kachao, I mean, what in the timing was that? Guiding light just at the right moment? And then Alka with the fault line to answer back as well. But thankfully, NYX Kyosei's teammates were just right around the corner from Boba, and they had the best angle to come back into the game. So off of that, good wins, good economy. We've got Capricious with an operator this time around.
Yeah, there's so much confidence right now here from NYX Kyosei compared to what we saw before their initial win. Before in the first half even. A chance now to try and rally back. They go for the flash to try and get confirmation towards B main.
Oh my god, Capricious.
So that's a dangerous angle to play with the operator with. Especially that Alok is on that breach. A single stun gonna be enough to keep her completely in a vulnerable state. The smoke comes out though. RRQ now, they still don't know. The op is out. Dangerous here for Best as well. As the market take Capricious, finally making the signal count. Rolling Thunder, immediately the answer. Alka has had enough. The flash is there too. And that's just to confirm the kill onto the option. 3v3. Cove's in the way. Khan will force Navsky to push a little bit deeper than expected. And from this point on, Khan is the angle again. Fighting versus Alka. Alka still wins the duel. 2v2. All picked up instead. Alka wants to provide fire support from afar.
Nice, bro.
The plant comes down.
The flank.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Fighty's flank, Fighty's timing. And now we hear the showstopper as well. Ultimates online and utilized here by NYX Kyosei. Everything left to Iceberg, but she just gets a fistful of rockets. Delbisky sends her packing, and that's 7 now for NYX along the way.
A gunpowder and smoke blown up in your face. RRQ Kaguya haven't had the best time ever since NYX Kyosei started winning rounds, and that operator, although Capricious did die towards the end, it was good enough that it halted or stalled that B split push coming in from RRQ Kaguya, and that's really all they needed to do, right? You have that little bit of damage, you have market dealt with, at least for the time being, and then everything else that follows through on it. Khan getting those frags were crucial, and lo and behold, Dax, you know what time it is.
It's time for a comeback, maybe.
I mean, the Reckoning.
No. That's your job, not mine anymore.
We got the Reckoning available, is what I'm telling you.
Dude, I need to make like a voice line for Quack. You need to give me a pre-recorded Reckoning voice line, man.
What's the signal? I'll just shout, Reckoning!
Yeah, like that out of nowhere.
It's to move.
And while Quack's trying to do his best harbor impression, we're finally gonna get exactly what we're asking for. Go ahead, do the honors.
It's time to move!
And the Seekers are the answer. Jokes aside though, NYX Kyosei, they're doing an incredible job to stop RRQ in their traps. And because of Seekers, because of the Reckoning, Kaguya can't even move from this angle.
Oh, they're just stocks. But I'm looking for Yumi to blast back into sight.
Yeah, and there, that's top 2, and they flush out Kachao in that committed position. Patience bearing fruit here for RRQ. A Yumi crossing on through. Khan completely blinded by it. Didn't expect a Yumi to be that close. 4v3, and that's up to Piety. There's the first, but that also gets Delbisky though, coming online truly here in the second half. And while Alec is the last one standing here for RRQ, it's the same angle to play. Running out of time though, needs to go here towards B. Capricious jiggling with the operator in hand. And it's a matter of timing here for NYX Kyosei.
10 seconds left.
As of yet. Through Satchel into the swing. And well done by NYX again. This is now 5 in a row for them.
That's a lovely movement from Delbisky at the end as well. I mean, first, it really is those Reckoning round stacks. I'm not even kidding anymore. It's just, they used the Reckoning. Everyone from RRQ Kaguya were stuck behind, and because of that stall, NYX Kyosei were in position to defend and hold, despite Ayumi's blast pack plays. Which, by the way, it's always that's RRQ Kaguya's playbook. Blast pack can decide. Ayumi maybe gets one, maybe a lot of them can follow through off of it. But this time they couldn't because everyone from NYX Kyosei were here and ready to fight back.
Yeah, NYX has been so prepared, especially towards backside, in multiple occasions, staying away from the kill zone that RRQ prepares for themselves. Delbisky, though, really come online, and there you go again! The second half has been her calling, and 3 is what she brings to the grave before she's felled. Big picks for NYX Kyosei just to define the round so far.
I mean, I know it's an eco round, but still, come on.
It's still 3, and that's a good one.
All right. RRQ trying to fight back. We've got Iceberg with the lockdown. Maybe he could put it down around elbow. Oh.
Flash comes out. Iceberg tries to swing from it. Chow playing safely into the sides. Little action as Alaka is caught outside the smoke. NYX Kyosei. This was a not convincing one. This was what, 11-3 a while ago, Quack. Now it's 11-9.
We've got 6 rounds in a row. You're right. Oh wow. Dax's math checks out, guys. That's incredible. But still, I mean,
Thank you. I went to elementary, for a few years. I think that taught me enough.
I'm glad that you can count. But NYX Kyosei, I mean, the main point is this is such a comeback, and if you haven't, if you don't believe it, now's the time. Now is the time to start believing in Fifi, because it's happening again. Delbisky has the showstopper. Now she's popped it out. Nobody's really there though, and RRQ have turned away. Now they're funneled into A site. A lot of Cypher utility here.
Yeah, NYX Kyosei, they're getting the rally for the comeback, yes, but they can't jump the gun like that. Showstopper finds nothing. It's RRQ. They're moving in their way towards A instead, and Piety. Strong setup, especially towards the main angles here. But the lockdown, hey, finally! We actually get to see it into the map here from Iceberg. It's a great way to clear out this A site. Everyone else from NYX Kyosei, they have to play towards the alley. With the space, so Alaka though, triggered once Tripwire was covered though along the way. Here the showstopper instead from Ayumi, and up close and personal. There's no escaping for Con whatsoever. Advantage now here for RRQ.
And that's the thing about RRQ. I mean, having built up such a strong lead from the first half, all they really needed was one round to push things into match and series point. That's it, though. Round's not over. NYX Kyosei can still fight back, but the Rolling Thunder just to hold them back. They want this round so bad.
And look at the play. Ayumi makes of it. From that point on, Piety will fall, and NYX Kyosei, there's just no getting in there. Ayumi with 3. Navsky, same angle, same destiny, and that's gonna be it. This is series point for RRQ awaiting them.
Very, very incredible. I mean, I don't know if this was a call from the in-game leader for RRQ, Navsky, but you can see that there was a very well thought out game plan. Sure, at first they were kind of headed towards B, and then they rotated back into A, but because there was that much space to work with, along with the showstopper and the utility and everything else, it's just a perfect setup for Ayumi and Alaka to really, defeat NYX Kyosei. So now, backs against the wall. This is our last stand. Timeout being called. I'm not sure how much they could do. They need 3 rounds for overtime.
Yeah, one final timeout here for Fifi, perhaps. RRQ, they're just 1 round away from making it to the next round of the lower bracket. And it's been an incredible run here for NYX Kyosei, with Delbisky coming online, with Piety really stepping up, especially so far in this game alone. And that's been the story of NYX Kyosei all throughout their run this year. The step up in LCQ, the big win versus MLT, the fact that they're still here in Elites and making waves. It's been a big testament to their progress, but against, of course, such a stable team in RRQ, Kaguya. Is this the end of the line for them? This timeout is where they discuss what else they can do by this point.
Yeah. You gotta plan for the next 3 rounds or so. It's always a bit of a tall task, a tall order, but not impossible. Capricia's back on and ready with that operator, looking to block off B main. But you could see some pings out on the minimap coming in from RRQ. perhaps Alka's going to outline this. Or, oh, they're very aware. Instantly blocked up by the Dark Carver as well. So I guess we'll just have to explore mid market or maybe A instead.
Yeah, Nowski backing away.
Ooh, spotted.
That was way too close for
Chance
comfort.
with death.
Oh, well, while these omens are ready to be the signal of their own demise, now repositioned. Ayumi getting away in time. It's taking a bit of damage along the way. Prowler don't get the confirmation. Quan has to retreat. Con gets the first, but not the second. Ayumi now makes his trade work. 4v4 for the time being. As RRQ repositioned to try and pivot towards B here.
They know that Capricious has fallen back, so there's a bit more space. But what they did not know is Delbisky right here, ready to receive.
Yeah, Delbisky now backing off with the pain shells. Still sticking around main though in RRQ. Can't figure this one out. Paranoia lob. Capricious! Still holding the angle, and that was so quick from NYX. Just thrusting one another in the angles that they held. Capricious went for the Paranoia, instantly peeked back into market, and the timing was perfect for her. But the pressure now onto the shoulders of Piety. Set up her tripwire still in station, but RRQ are trying to move on through to the other side. A big catch with the trip, but Ayumi still wins the fight anyway. 31 HP. Up to the high ground. The Capricious now. The angle's there, but the shot doesn't ring through. A heartbreaker there for Capricious. But the job's not done. 3v2. Elbow. Being taken by NYX especially. As RRQ see this coming. Ayumi is in dangerous territory here, my friend. Aluka is holding by her lonesome now. 3 for Ayumi, though. Job's done by her, but Aluka is it time now for RRQ with another one. The clash, though, comes in close, and Capricious, with the classic of all things, keeps NYX alive. We go to a 12-10 standing.
Lunging forward. The classic right click at point blank range. Absolutely lethal. Smart movement coming in, and I guess, you know, even if she was hit by the vine, it wasn't that big of a deal. And unfortunate for Alka, good mind to pull out that utility, but still tough to work against nonetheless. But still, I mean, making it come down to such a close scenario. RRQ almost making it work, but you have to credit Capricious and her operator in this round.
Insane movement, that's all I have to say. She made her way through and somehow survived to still win the fight. NYX Kyosei, has that been the story all throughout their run here in Game Changers this year? I think the answer is yes. They've survived, they've thrived, and they're still here fighting. The Trailblazer gets the intel towards B main. And now though RRQ has a big presence moving towards mid especially.
Oh, and that's where you don't really want to go because Capricious is right at the top of top mid. Smokes off bot mid as well, and just kind of falling back, sensing a bit of danger perhaps. Ayumi, alright, they're clearing things out.
Yeah, the utility is there, and instead we get the alley hold from NYX USA. We watch over at Boba this time around, and let's see what kind of percent of damage Con will get. 40% of the opposition. That's a sweet treat here for NYX. But RRQ, the fight back so far, they will be able to get control of backside here. The Lord of Iceberg also equalizing the odds. 3v3 for the time being. Capricious still prepared, but she can't hit the shot! A critical error, but Delbisky's there to thrive and fight. 2v2 now, the Pain Shell's getting confirmation. But Torpnora into play though. NYX, can they keep alive in this game? The Satchel's best at bay, and it's up to Iceberg yet again. 3 for her so far. The Pain Shells have been reset. Delbisky getting space for it. And as Delbisky tries to go for the half defuse, Delbisky still wins it! NYX is still here, ladies and gents. They're still fighting, and they're 1 round away from overtime.
With every single round, they survive, they thrive, and they keep going at it. And it's just this movement from Con as well, receiving them perfectly as they try to push out of Boba. I mean, maybe it's the Phantom, maybe it's her sensing, but she just nailed those shots, and every single other movement coming through. NYX Kyosei were able to make it work. Iceberg, though, with such a big flank, that's great. I mean, 40% damage as well towards her opponents. Very good math, Dax. But still, I mean, when it comes down to it, when it matters most, that one-on-one, she couldn't come up huge. So we're in for it. Overtime or bust now.
Yeah, RRQ They've witnessed their lead crumble at the seams in front of them. This has been an incredible second half from NYX Kyosei. But can they finish off, or in this case, force the overtime actually, as RRQ want to keep it in regulation. The tripwire though is there. Ninesberg spot, trying to find any spot she can work with without touching the wire. Piety though, alongside Delbisky, this is gonna be crucial for both sides. Whoever can get a pick here.
right?
Yeah, she's not trying to break it. She's trying to goad Piety or Delbisky coming her way. The boombot though finally gets confirmation. The cyber cage is popped, and seems like for RRQ, they have to hold back for the time being.
I mean, since they know she's here, might as well.
Never mind.
And then she peeks. Showstopper as well. Guess what though, Dax? There's a reckoning available.
RRQ just doesn't listen. They decide to go for the full send, and they come up ahead because of it. The reckoning alarm is here, but it's alarming that there's only 2 left for NYX Kyosei. The final lifeline perhaps for Kon, as Ayumi gets another one as the clear comes again. And NYX Kyosei, it's been an incredible rally. It's been an incredible fight and an incredible year. But RRQ, they know their destiny lies into the next round. And with 5 still standing, the veil will be lifted. Ayumi with a triple kill. And RRQ take it 13-11 to sweep NYX Kyosei.
What an incredible fight from NYX Kyosei. I mean, seriously, hats off to them for making it this long, this far. But when it all comes down to it, just one round was all it took, and RRQ Kaguya recognized that Elbow was where they would want to plant their flag. Elbow was where Napsky and everyone was able to kind of work around that tripwire. I mean, we talked about how, do we shoot the tripwire? It's clearly not. They're waiting, trying to goad them into peeking her. And then it just happens right then and there. The showstopper as well. And finally, despite the reckoning alarm, nope, it's not going to happen in that final round. No 1v5s today.
A little too shallow with the lesser numbers. And in the end, NYX Kyosei, they put up an incredible fight, especially there on Sunset. A strong rally to make that case of why they made it too late in the first place. But RRQ Kaguya, they're expecting even bigger and better stages for them. So they move on. They're going to face off against NWJ the next time around. That's going to be it us for now. Here on the casting side, we'll throw it over to the panel to break down an incredible map that we just witnessed.
Thank you very much, Dax and the Quack, for that. I mean, it was quite a map indeed. We didn't expect that. I think NYX Kyosei would put up that much of a fight, but they can go down with their heads held high because this was, quite the comeback for them, right? Unfortunately, because this is an elimination match, we do have to say goodbye to Fifi and friends. But as I mentioned, this was an amazing fight brought on for them and ended so poetically with the reckoning, which now, thanks to NYX Kyosei, I will always think of Quack's voice line whenever a reckoning comes online here, Colden.
Honestly, it was Quack. His reckoning alarm was too late.
I know.
Everyone died by the time he said the reckoning alarm. Yeah, they used reckoning 4 times, and every single time they used it, they won, except for the last round at the very final hurdle. It's heartbreaking to see, but yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. It is, and a nice attempt coming from NYX. It was a resurgence coming in from Delbisky. At one point, she was 0 and 12, if I'm not mistaken. And then she comes back, puts on 16 frags and 5 deaths in the second half, which was an insane haul, but a bit too little too late, I guess, right? The first half was just a very huge margin already, right? The difference was 9-3, and so the comeback was incredibly difficult. RRQ just needed to scrape together a couple rounds, and not to mention Ayumi, an insane duelist on this map. She's been putting up numbers, and this map is no exception.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like, everybody on RRQ was just, really, really popping off. But I do have to commend, as you mentioned, Delbisky was a massive factor when it came to the comeback of NYX Kyosei, right? And as well as, of course, Kon. We already talked about how iconic this reckoning was for this series. Yeah, but Delbisky came up, right when her team really needed that extra push, right? In the same way that Ayumi can be
Yeah.
the same for RRQ, Delbisky was that for NYX Kyosei. As well as Capricious, there were some excellent moments there, especially when, when she was really determined to make sure that I will get the most out of this op here. I will determinedly hold this angle here. And Piety too. There were a lot of big plays here that were made by those players, and that were really instrumental into that comeback. Unfortunately, it was just too late, I guess, in the game, especially here at Leeds, the last leg. And when you're up against somebody like Ayumi, who has an ACS of 321 and 27 kills, it's just way too much of a tall order for these ladies.
Yeah, there wasn't much room for error. There was such a close margin. They reached 11 rounds by the second round of the second half, so they just needed to scrape together, just 2 more. You have so many ultimates that you can work with as well. So as long as you stack those ultimates, you can get a lot of value. You can just, whip around just out of your back pocket. And to be honest, they were really close of getting, those rounds. There were so many clutch scenarios that we witnessed that went in the favor of NYX Kyosei, right? There was the Capricious Classic 1v1 with Aluka, insane, having the op and then switching out to the Classic, as well as that Delbisky 3k clutch over at the B side, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, extremely close rounds, but today is just not that day, and we'll have to say goodbye to NYX Kyosei.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is elimination and it is elite, so we do know that eventually only one will come out victorious. It could be RRQ Kaguya because right now they do continue on their journey in the lower bracket, right? I do believe we have an interview with them coming up, so just getting confirmation to make sure that our players are ready. And I do think for RRQ Kaguya, they are looking really well, but I've yet to see when other teams are up against say Full Send Sapphire or Team SMG, there is that definitive there is that definitive lead, I guess. And with RRQ Kaguya, it's I guess it's not quite there. It might just be the luck of the draw. It might just be a case-to-case basis. But first up, let's pull up RRQ Kaguya onto your screens for a very quick interview. We can check in on the girls and see how they're feeling. So RRQ, are you guys there? Can you hear us over here on the panel?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Bess.
Hi.
Hi, hello. Congratulations on this win. That was a very excruciating final map, I think. Can you talk to us how were you expecting this kind of comeback from NYX Kyosei? And actually, two-part question for you. NWJ is coming up next for you guys. Were you expecting to go up against them, and how are you guys feeling about this next match?
We were ready for any team that was gonna win the last match, so we're just prepared. And how we feel right now, it was definitely scary since they had a little comeback, but then still we didn't underestimate them, so we're always doing our best.
I think it really did show, of course. Congratulations on that amazing run, Bess. Colden, do you have a question? I'm so distracted. There's a cat.
Yeah, the cat's extremely cute, but I just have kind of one question. Going into this matchup, or at least going into this tournament, right? I was just curious to see your perspective on it, but what was the goal for your team coming into Elite, right? We know that SMG are the top dogs. You have Full Send Sapphire, which you guys go toe to toe quite frequently as well. So I'm just curious to see what's the team's goal in this Elite. Is it to win at everything, to go all the way to Brazil? What's the sentiment there?
Yeah, our goal is always to win, and since we've played both teams a lot, especially FS, we're all preparing for them, so maybe we can see an upset.
Do you think you guys, or at least, what is your confidence level, should I say, if you guys beat Full Send Sapphire, in that lower brackets? Because SMG, they won in the upper bracket, so they will be in that grand finals, and then Full Send Sapphire waiting for you guys if you get past Scythe and WJ. But I'm just curious to see, what's your confidence level? Do you have something in your back pocket, something to surprise them perhaps?
Yeah, we always have something prepared for them, and we just we're just ready. That's all I have to say.
Not
Alright,
revealing too
amazing.
much.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything out of Best here, Colden. No spoilers allowed in this game.
Yeah, I just want to see, what's the confidence level, because I really do think those two teams, have a decent shot at making their grand finals and, taking on SMG again. So happy to hear that, and yeah, good luck with your games that will be coming up.
Absolutely. Good luck to you and the rest of RRQ. Bess, for now, you guys can rest easy, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the continuation of your journey.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, it seems as though RRQ, they have that quiet confidence going on, right? They are prepared for anything that might come their way. They might just not, perhaps show it or execute or like brandish it all around as like much as the other teams. But they already, as Bess mentioned, they do have tricks up their sleeve as well. So it's going to be really exciting indeed, as they will be up against NWJ. Which they did mention that, like, hey, any team you can throw our way, we are ready. But I think a lot of us here in the script, Colden, we're not expecting this matchup to happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of viewers or just casters talent expect OGX to be that team against RRQ, but NWJ, right? They've been showing up, they've been taking down great teams in this tournament already, and yeah, they're gonna have to face up with yet another titan in the scene, which is going to be RRQ that we just witnessed today, which will be a very interesting matchup. I think the last few matchups, nothing unfamiliar, but it is a new map pool, it is a new patch, so I think anything is possible, and I cannot wait to see how the tournament continues on.
Well, we are going to see by tomorrow which of these teams will be joining Team SMG in the grand finals. We will first have the continuation of our lower bracket, which will be RRQ versus NWJ, and then the winner of that will go on to face Full Send Sapphire in our lower final. And eventually, the winner of that will go up against Team SMG for that slot to Game Changers Champions in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the title of Game Changers APAC Champions as well. At the end of everything, Colden, any final thoughts to wrap up this very long day?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's a long day, but it's been a very entertaining one. We got a couple of nice maps, we got a couple of interesting storylines, attempted comebacks, failed comebacks.
We got a gecko.
Everything under the sun. We got a gecko as well. Yeah, it's been really, really fun. And yeah, thank you to Vika being the panelist with me here today. But I think, yeah, nothing else to say, I guess.
Very exciting, and I think I absolutely agree with you. It is a reminder that everything can happen, and you can't count out teams just yet. We saw, even though we had to say goodbye to OGX and to NYX Kyosei, we did see that at the very end they really did pull out all of the stops, and it just goes to show how much the competitive scene is for elevating here for Game Changers APAC. And it is exciting stuff indeed, and we're not done just yet. We still do have RRQ and NWJ and that lower final against Full Send Sapphire, and eventually we'll see Team SMG at the very end as well. So tune in and stay until the very end with us, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a few more days until we find out who our champion will be. So we'll see you guys here same time, same virtual place. So for now, we'll see you guys later, and have a good night.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Remaining. Spike planted. One enemy. Got the money
show me what you got. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.